San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Thursday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. We are the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got a lot to dive into today, a lot to talk about in the sports world. Of course, starting off with the beautiful scenes, and we have a beautiful, picture-perfect day in America's finest city to display to everybody that's sitting in the snow right now at the Farmers Insurance Open. Max Homa just missed on the second hole.
Not great scenes on that putt there.
Yeah, well, you know what? I have played this course multiple times because as a, by the way, city resident, if you have San Diego, California next to your, on your address, you can apply for a city card.
Shoffley for birdie.
Yeah, because he can hear me all the way from out there. You know what? They're probably listening to our show because Xander's a San Diego guy, Script Ranch guy.
And he missed it because you kept blabbering on through the whole thing.
He's going to par this.
That's
a long birdie putt. Again, have you played this course?
No.
This is impossible.
I have played this course many times on EAPGA and PGA
It's your
2K.
local. It's your local municipality, man.
I don't golf, dude.
Your local muni.
I don't golf. I don't have
just
clubs.
a local golf course here in America's finest city. Anybody with a city card, did you get it way cheaper? It's great. You talk about playing the South, man. The South course is nuts. That's, good luck to everybody. Brooks Koepka, good luck, buddy. Xander Schauffele, good luck, buddy. It's tough playing the South course. You get the full. I love the Farmers Insurance Open. Look, I liked golf. I never really got into watching golf, but I tell you what, those first couple of years at our station here, we had the Padres, but we were still trying to build an identity, still trying to show that we are the #1 sports station in San Diego. And in those early days, I remember I went out there and covered every day of the Farmers Insurance Open. Thursday through Sunday, I was there like 12 hours to 13 hours a day. And when you watch, and that was leading up to Torrey hosting the U.S. Open. So you had all of the best golfers in the world participating in this event. It's all pre-COVID. And I remember going out there, and I got invited to play in the media day a couple of times. That was before I got the city card, before I ended up playing at this course a handful of times. And this course is very difficult on the PGA. Now, when it's in the middle of the summer, it's not as difficult as a course as it is when the PGA Tour rolls around. I mean, the rough goes up to your knees. I mean, you hit any ball into the rough, it's gone, unless you have people with little flag markers marking it for you like these guys do. But you go and play Torrey, and you go through the media day, and then a couple of weeks later, you go out there and watch these guys play the same course, and you're just in awe about how talented they are. If you want to see just insane golf, you got to go to the Farmers Insurance Open. I mean, you have to go watch these guys play, especially for anybody that's played Torrey before. And I'm blessed enough to live in the city of San Diego and have a city card and be able to go out there and play a couple of times a year. That is a difficult golf course, and these guys make it look so easy. They make it look so easy. The South is the iconic course, of course. That is the one that is the U.S. Open version, the U.S. Open course. But we got beautiful scenes at Farmers out there at Torrey. I know a lot of people might be going out there this weekend. Should be a fun time. Jealous of all you guys being able to go out there. It's hard to go. Like today and tomorrow would be great days to go, but obviously we are during the majority part of the rounds. Sun only stays up for so long. Like by the time we leave work to go up there, it just wouldn't make any sense. Saturday, we're going to be busy all day with FanFest. I got USD basketball after that. Sunday would be the only day I could go. So I didn't really apply for credential. But if you have never been to a golf tournament, I'm telling you, you got to go out there and go to the Farmers Insurance Open. It's unbelievable. It's not as rowdy as the WM, but it's definitely a great time. They got great little event spaces. They got cool little areas to hang out at. I mean, it is a great time at Torrey Pines. And so we're going to be giving you updates on that throughout the entire day. Obviously, we got a lot of local kids participating in it, most notably Xander Schauffele and JJ Spahn. Those are two of the bigger names from San Diego competing. Brooks Koepka, this is his first leg of the tour back from Live Golf. And just, again, beautiful scenes at Torrey Pines today. Have you ever been to a golf tournament?
No, I have not.
You got to go. It's unbelievable. I want to go to the WM one time just to say I did it. I don't know if I want to get there 3 a.m. and sprint to the 13th, whatever, green, 17th, whatever it is, 13th. The stadium hole, which is super sick. But oh my God, what a beautiful day. I could see why Paul turned this off for Ben. I mean, a beautiful day at Torrey Pines.
I said it. I'm like, I'm surprised, Ben, you wouldn't have this on. He's like, yeah, Paul doesn't let me watch it. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, I can see why it would be a little bit of a problem for the guy who's supposed to be hosting the show.
It's going to be fun to watch. So every about middle segment per hour, we're going to have 4 updates for you on the Farmers Insurance Open. We'll see if Frank can pronounce some of these guys' names as he gives us the leaderboard. I don't even know. Do you even know how to give a golf update, or are you going to learn on the fly?
Oh no, we learn on the fly, baby.
All right, we're going to see how Frank's golf updates are.
I graduated high school and college by learning on the fly, so it hasn't failed me yet.
All right, let's get to what happened last night. Now, this is the big part of the show today. Aztec basketball. They did a really good job yesterday. They took care of business against a quad 3 opponent. Now, Colorado State is probably better than a quad 3 opponent, but based on their metrics, they only get credit for a quad 3 win if they beat Colorado State. They did that in a big fashion last night. They dominated from start to finish against Colorado State, a team that they're going to play each and every year in the new Pac-12. And this is a huge win for the Aztecs. For weeks, a lot of fans wondered what San Diego State would look like if Brian Dutcher tightened the rotation. They play a lot of players. Well, Wednesday night, they kind of had to do it because you had Nova Goongwath and LZ Harrington didn't play. He had a lower leg pain issue, and his status is uncertain at Utah State. That makes it even crazier. That makes it even crazier of a, matchup for the Aztecs on Saturday. And by the way, Utah State already talking about that game. Anybody see the post game with Utah State after they won? They were focused on Saturday and the Aztecs. Everybody wants to beat the Aztecs. That is the flag bearer of the conference. And we talk about this, and I'm going to talk about this later. We have now posted, and this is a big announcement for us, we are doing weekly updates on all the local teams here in town. If you want to see them, you will get a taste during our show, during commercial breaks on YouTube, but they are all posted on our YouTube page at B_SURP, at BSURP on YouTube. Subscribe to our page. You could be a member of the page. Big shout out to David Vu, who is our first ever member of the Braden Surprenant Show's YouTube page. Big round of applause to David Vu. You know what? David Vu, a Baylor grad, supporting a frog. Phenomenal. And then the other member, of course, is Maria Eaton. Big round of applause to Maria for being a member as well. We're going to try to grow the membership. We want to be able to do some membership-only things, just like the morning show does, to reward you guys who are here each and every day supporting the show. So we're going to have more content on YouTube. We're going to have more content on YouTube on the Braden Surprenant Show page. So be sure to tune in on that side of things as well, but also subscribe to the page. If you subscribe to the page, it's free, and you'll get a notification when we post new videos. We posted a bunch last night, but we're giving updates on a lot of different sports in town that we don't have time to talk about during our show. I mean, we got so much jam-packed into our shows for 4 hours. We want to give you some extra content. We have an update on the San Diego Gulls. We have an update on all 3 Division I universities for men's and women's sports. We got a high school update on there Frank's given us some motorsports updates as well, as we have NASCAR coming to San Diego. We got this week in particular, we do have a Farmers Insurance Open kind of deal, but we got a lot of just different things that we want to post on our YouTube page and just keep creating content for you guys who support us all the time and keeping it San Diego and local. We have a couple more things up our sleeve. So instead of watching the same softball videos all the time, which we should be updating in the next couple of weeks or so, you'll have some extra content on the YouTube page. And you only can access it on the YouTube page at B_SURP. So we're excited to announce that as being part of our show, trying to grow the show some more. Again, still in our first year leading up to March, but we're excited to talk about a lot of different sports here in town and keeping it local. But, most of the time, especially when it's baseball season, we're focused on Padres baseball. We're going to be Padres baseball as soon as spring training starts, the entire way through. Sometimes we like talking about other things and other content. We're going to put that exclusively on YouTube. Some of the sides, some of the sports that don't get as much attention. We got San Diego FC update on there as well. They got a big game next week. So we're doing that on YouTube. We're trying to grow the YouTube page, try to post some more things on social media as well. Really appreciate you guys being a part of that and supporting us. So we're going to talk about this Aztec game from last night. It was a trap game between two nationally televised road games at UNLV and, of course, at Utah State coming up on Saturday. And Colorado State tried to shorten the game. They're 365th in tempo nationally, and San Diego State was missing Magungwath and LZ Harrington. But I tell you what, there was a couple of things that stood out on why the Aztecs got the victory last night against Colorado State and what this means leading into a game against Utah State on Saturday. Since we got to get to a break, we're going to talk about that when we come back. Aztecs, big win over Colorado State last night. We'll keep you updated on the Farmers Insurance Open. We're just getting started on a Thursday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. San Diego State continues to sit alone atop the Mountain West at 14-5 overall going into this week, 8-1 in conference. But this week is where the margin of error shrinks. Wednesday night, the Aztecs host Colorado State, a team who's 3-6 in the conference record, who's very misleading, by the way. It's a very good basketball team. Rams are finally healthy. They space the floor. They shoot the lights out. Number 2 in the nation in three-point percentage of 41.3%. Over the last 3 games, they're nearly 49% from deep, making more than 11 threes per game. That's important because that is the exact type of team that usually gives San Diego State problems. So going into Wednesday's game, that's a very tough competition for San Diego State. But we want to focus a little bit more about this weekend. It's a big game for San Diego State against Utah State in men's basketball. And when you look at this matchup, this is the best chance that San Diego State has at getting a quad 1 win.
Yeah, absolutely. And San Diego State has the ability. We've seen them go in and at least play close games against conference rivals in tough places such as Grand Canyon a couple of weeks ago. May not have gotten the results you wanted to get, but certainly able to play in that atmosphere and be able to compete with Grand Canyon. Now, to go to Utah State, they had just gotten beaten in Grand Canyon right before San Diego State had gotten there. So both of those teams struggling in that atmosphere. Going now to Utah State, this is a great opportunity for the Aztecs to be able to separate themselves a little bit from the pack in the Mountain West, something that the football team wasn't able to do.
Yeah, this is a very important stretch for San Diego State. They are 47 right now in the net rankings. They're 13-5 overall in terms of games that counted towards their resume. They're 8-2 in their last 10. And as I mentioned before, 47 in the net, 36 in the RPI. They are 32 in the ELO rankings. And then when it comes to the rest of their kind of, team sheet, when it comes to Ken Palm and all that fun stuff, the Aztecs right now have a pretty impressive resume, but they could still use a couple of marquee wins. They got to be able to beat Utah State in one of these 2 games. Now, Utah State's going to be a quad 1 opponent, both at home and on the road. Unfortunately for the Aztecs, they got to take them on the road here. And when you look at the way that the Aztec schedule plays out in terms of March Madness and potential resume where they don't have to win the Mountain West Conference tournament, it's going to be you have to split on the road with Utah State and New Mexico. They're both going to be quad 1 games. Now, Boise State is another team later in the year that might be able to play themselves into the top 75. You have to go to Boise State and get a victory there as well. But that's another quad one game. If you're San Diego State, you can't miss on quad one opportunities for the men's basketball team if you want to feel comfortable going into Selection Sunday and not having to worry about getting hot in a weekend in Vegas. And to me, that starts with Miles Byrd. Miles Byrd really has to put the team on his back in these next couple of games, and especially with Magoon Guath being out. And here's the deal. Magoon Guath being out is a problem, but not that big of a problem because he was coming back from injury. He's already missed a significant amount of time, but this is Miles Byrd's biggest opportunity to take over, be the scorer for San Diego State. We see him play emotionally, and it affects his offensive game, but defensively, it definitely makes him a lot better. He's done a lot of great things on defense, but now the Aztecs need him to really step up and be that player, be that number one player on this team, and let the supporting cast help Miles Byrd be that player that he wants to be, that NBA rising star that he thinks he is, that a lot of us have seen and see the potential of him becoming.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is going to be the engine that drives this team right now. Where Miles Byrd goes, San Diego State basketball is going to go. And remember, right now you're seeing a lot of projections for San Diego State. You're seeing them around 11th place in whichever region they're going to be. That's partly because they're leading the conference right now. If they do start to tumble, if they do start to fall, they're not going to stay there. The Mountain West very well could be a one-bid league this year. So you have to get these big wins, preferably on the road, because they do impact a little bit more. But San Diego State really has to buckle down here for the end of this conference schedule.
There's a lot of tough games for San Diego State coming forward that don't give them a big reward in terms of a resume. But while the men are navigating some landmines, the women flat out imposing their will. 16-3 overall, 10-0 in conference play. Aztecs pulled off one of the grittiest wins you'll see all season, a 46-44 victory at Colorado State that happened during our show.
Yes.
On Wednesday. They went 0 for 12 from 3, scored the fewest points in a win in program history, still found a way to win with defense and rebounding, and an impressive start to conference play for the Aztecs women's team. They are looking like a team that could be built for March. But that's it for our update. San Diego State Aztecs update. We'll get you back next week. We're broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. We don't have Aztec tickets to give away because that was from yesterday. Anyway, we are the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Again, a lot of extra YouTube stuff out there, so if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our YouTube page. It's free to subscribe. You got to pay to be a member. We're going to do some member stuff later on as we develop through this year, but subscribing to the YouTube page is free and access to a lot of extra content that we are going to push forward. We're going to get some Farmers Insurance Open updates for you. Xander Schauffele already off to a little bit of a tough start on the first couple of holes in today's tournament. So we'll see how the local kid does. We're going to be monitoring that as many times as possible throughout the day. Again, just a picture perfect day in America's finest city. And we're going to talk a little bit about, because we talked about the PGA update all this week. It's just, there's a little bit of unrest with this tournament because Farmers contract with this golf tournament as a sponsor runs out, and there's some chances for cuts at the PGA Tour schedule. But they asked a lot of golfers about it, and most of the golfers are in support of being here at Torrey Pines as part of the tour and being here early, and we'll talk about that later on in the show. I mean, it's a great place to play on the PGA Tour. Let's talk about the Aztecs for a second. Okay, Aztec basketball from last night. It's a big win for San Diego State. They win soundly. They win very, very convincingly, 73-50 over Colorado State. Thriving with a shorter rotation and a statement win over Colorado State for weeks. Again, fans wondered what this would look like, a smaller rotation, and they got to see it because you didn't have Magoon Guath, you didn't have LZ Harrington. San Diego State shortened its rotation from 11 to 9, still obliterated Colorado State, who's probably better than they're probably better than what the quad 3 game status is for them. But at the same time, you got to be able to take care of business against teams like Colorado State, and San Diego State did that last night across the board. It was a trap game. We talked about that before. We talked about who the Aztecs were missing, but despite that, Aztecs shot 54% overall. They held Colorado State to 33.3% shooting, which was their worst all season long. They forced 17 turnovers, which led to 32 points, and they held Colorado State without a single player in double figures. That is some vintage Aztec basketball last night against Colorado State. Couple of things stood out. The shorter rotation, they had a little bit of better rhythm, I thought, last night. Offense flowed. Defensive rotations were tighter. Roles were clear. This looked like a team that knew who it was, knows who matters, and knows how it wants to win. I mean, I thought overall that was a really good performance by the Aztecs, and if they play like that on Saturday, they will remain in first place in the Mountain West Conference, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially the first half that you got from Reese Dixon Waters. He was unbelievable in the first half, and then after that, you had Farrell Compton take over in the second half. I mean, both of those guys really played huge roles in this game against Colorado State, and to win by their largest margin of victory of the season at 23, and they're banging down threes right up until the last second. They had a very, very, very good run of really good run of play last night. Did exactly what they needed to do against a team like Colorado State at home.
We talked about Miles Byrd having to be the guy. Miles Byrd needs to be the guy. Miles Byrd needs to be the guy. Miles Byrd needs to be the guy. But the other thing, too, is if you could get some more, play out of Reese Dixon Waters and have him become the guy, it helps out. I mean, he had 16 points. He was 7 of 9 from shooting. It was 10 straight games in double figures. He took and made tough late clock shots, plus 23, plus minus, best on the floor last night for the Aztecs. Wasn't just volume scoring. That's alpha scoring for a guy that came into this season, coming off injury last year, as being that big score that the Aztecs needed. He's finally starting to hit his stride at the best possible time of the conference slate, this second half slate. Brian Dutcher said last night in a quote in the post game, when he starts rhythm dribbling and raising up for threes, he's hard to deal with. Talking about Reese Dixon Waters. I mean, he is leveling up at the right time, and the Aztecs really need him to get going because they need him and Miles Byrd to have a big day on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And for San Diego State, that is crucial. Of course, Miles Byrd, you're going to be relying on him, but you also need these supporting cast characters to get in on the action if you want to be successful. And that's exactly what Dixon Waters and Farrell Compton both showed that they could do last night. They can take over games if need be.
Let's take a look at San Diego State's overall viewership, or what should I say, overall resume. Again, it's a nice little deal. They moved down one spot since Sunday, but they are now 37 in the RPI. They're 45 in the net. Their ELO ranking is 33. And when you look at their overall sheet, they got a very impressive resume. I mean, again, looking at the net team sheet, they're at 45 in the net, and the top 68 make the field, theoretically, right? You're trying to get in a field of 68. You got to think about there's 30 teams that are going to be automatic qualifiers for the NCAA tournament. Okay, that drops it down to 38 at-large bids. San Diego State at the net of 45 is probably right there in the mix and very comfortable in making the NCAA tournament, but they really need to get this win on Saturday against Utah State. When looking at the KenPom rankings, KenPom for San Diego State is at 43 in the country. Their strength of record is at 50. Their Kevin Pauga index is 39. I mean, all of the result-based metrics and predictive metrics, Aztecs are all in the top 60 for those. The only one that hurts them is the ESPN Basketball Power Index, but that includes recruiting classes and stuff. Like, I don't like the Football Power Index, the FPI that they put out, the ESPN puts out, or the Basketball Power Index that ESPN puts out, because those are all indexes that are a little flawed to kind of help some of the Power 4 schools. But when looking at it, it's a good quad 3 win. Aztecs now improved to 5-1 in quad 3 games. Their only loss in the quad 3 is Troy. That's going to be a loss that hurts you throughout the entire season. We talked about that. They're 5-0 in quad 4. In quad 2, they're now 3-2, and they're 1-2 in quad 1. But coming up on Saturday, it's Utah State. And Utah State is a quad 1 game because it's on the road, and Utah State is top 30 in the net in the country. A win at Utah State would be an absolute massive win for San Diego State. Is it do or die? No, because you still get them here, and Utah State at this point in time will still be a quad 1 game. In my opinion, I still think they'll probably be a quad 1 game by the time they roll into Viejas Arena. But you got to be able to get a quad 1 win against Utah State or New Mexico later on when you go to New Mexico. Boise State continues to hang around in the top 75 for a road game for the Aztecs that could be a quad 1 game. So when looking at the overall opportunities, Aztecs have 3 more opportunities to get a quad 1 win. I think they got to go 2-1 or 1. Like if they go 1-2, it's okay. They can't go 0-3 in quad 1 games. They got to rack up at least 1. If they get 2, it makes it a lot easier for the Mountain West tournament for the Aztecs when they go to Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Utah State, they do have a couple weapons that you're going to need to watch out for. MJ Collins Jr. right now is a senior guard for them, 19 points per game leading the team. That is a guy who has taken over the floor for Utah State. And for them, coming off a win last night against Wyoming, I believe, a 94-62 win against Wyoming. They just beat Colorado State as well at Colorado State 65-61. Snapping their 2-game losing streak at Grand Canyon and then versus UNLV. So they have lost recently. They have lost on their home floor recently. So if you see the San Diego State that we've seen over the last couple games, even against Grand Canyon, they played them close even though they didn't win the game. It could be a very, very good night for San Diego State on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's a big game. We're going to talk more about that on tomorrow's show with Aztec basketball because this is the biggest game that they have of the year. I mean, I think playing at Grand Canyon's tough. Okay, things aren't going to work out for you at Grand Canyon, but at the same time, when looking at the overall schedule, when this schedule came out, it was if you wanted to win the conference, you had to do well against Utah State because they're their biggest threat in this conference is the Utah State Aggies. And that's going to be one of the biggest threats in the Pac-12 come next season in the new formed Pac-12 conference, which has been meeting this week to already discuss football. And hopefully we get a football schedule, within the within the next month or so. But, Grand Canyon's a tough place to play, but Utah State, that's where it's at. As much as Utah State's got San Diego State circled on their calendar, Aztecs should be replying with the Utah State circle as well. We're going to talk about that game again more tomorrow. But the defense is still the identity of this Aztecs team. 40 straight wins holding opponents under 60 points. 40 straight wins holding opponents under 60 points. Do I need to say that one more time? 40 straight wins in holding opponents and 40 straight wins they've held opponents under 60 points. That's remarkable. As much as the defense kind of struggled at the beginning part of the season, this is a team that's built on defense. Third best defensive performance of the season, according to KenPom, for the Aztecs. Colorado State came in 19th nationally in field goal percentage and got erased across the board. Colorado State tried to go slow tempo, and the plan worked for about a half, and then San Diego State turned it into a track meet of stops. This Aztecs team finally starting to develop into the defense that has always been the leading cause for this program. And we talked about at the beginning of the season. This is a program that can score a lot more than they have had in the past. And the defense was lacking. And Mark Ziegler was writing articles like, well, you can win this way too. If you're an offensive team, it's just a little uncharacteristic. But now that the defense is coming to fruition for the Aztecs, like it always does, this is a team that not only can defend and guard, but they can also make a lot of shots. And that's a team that's very scary going into March.
Yeah, and I believe you said it, but Colorado State came into the game 19th in national field goal percentage. They were incredibly hot from beyond the arc, and San Diego State just absolutely snuffed them out. I'm watching air ball after air ball after air ball, miss three after miss three. Going back to last night, Colorado State shot, what did they shoot from 3-point range. They shot 6 for 30. No, that's San Diego State. They shot 8 for 30 from 3-point range last night. I mean, no one on their roster scored more than hit more than 2 3-pointers last night, which is a big part of their game. Only shot 16 for 48 overall. So again, a very, very solid defensive performance against a team that was very, very good at shooting the ball.
Yeah, Aztecs, phenomenal job. We talked about Reese Dixon Waters. Farrell Compton had a pretty efficient night, too. You mentioned that. 15 points in 18 minutes, 6 of 7 from the field. Aztecs are 11-0 when he scores in double figures. And with Magoon being out and potentially LZ Harrington, status uncertain at Utah State, not only is it Miles Byrd, but it's also Reese Dixon Waters. And if you could get some production out of Farrell Compton, you're going to be in a really good position to potentially beat Utah State. It would be a little bit of an upset, I think, in terms of the spread, but overall, Aztecs basketball is playing phenomenal. And here's kind of hats off to Brian Dutcher. 128-18 at home in Mountain West Play since 2009. 108 straight home wins when shooting 50% or more. And the Aztecs have never lost when leading at halftime this season. It's not about talent. Sometimes it's about preparation and discipline. And it goes to say about what Brian Dutcher has done with this program since he took over for Steve Fisher, who he coached with for a long time. But this Steve Fisher, Brian Dutcher era has just been a phenomenal era to watch of Aztecs basketball.
Yeah, exactly right. And this team has been incredibly, incredibly good. 108 straight home wins when shooting over 50%, 128-18 since 2009 at Viejas Arena. That has been incredible leadership from them as far as protecting home court. And they've done that very, very well over the last 15 years or so.
Latest look again at the bracketology. This came out on Tuesday. They update it tomorrow, so we'll have an update for you on tomorrow when it comes to Joe Lunardi's bracketology. There's a lot of them out there. There is an account that I like following as well that is college basketball related, and I gotta go find it on my Twitter account.
Mid-Major Madness?
No, that's one of them. That's one of them. There's a handful that are good to follow. But one of them just followed me back the other day. JBR on there. They do a lot of good predictions with college basketball. JBR bracketology. They are a look at what is a different level, but they have, this was such fun to watch. They have their updated locks and eliminations that they do every single day. And they post a Grim Reaper and go, South Carolina has been eliminated from at-large contention. And they post a GIF of the Grim Reaper.
Oops.
But as of Wednesday night, they had their eliminations throughout college basketball with like teams like Boston College. And they have the date they were eliminated. Boston College got eliminated on December 10th. They're not in the NCAA tournament. Florida State, Pitt, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Syracuse, Notre Dame, all have been eliminated from the ACC. In the Big East, Marquette, DePaul, Georgetown, Providence, and Xavier have all been eliminated from the NCAA tournament.
Marquette?
Yeah, they eliminated Marquette on December 17th.
That's surprising because Marquette, over recent years, because when I was back in New York living with my grandparents, my uncle went to Seton Hall, so they watched every single Seton Hall game. Marquette was very, very good. They were ranked.
Yeah, they're probably having it down
ago.
here. In the Big Ten, Rutgers, Maryland, Penn State, Oregon, Northwestern eliminated from at-large bids. Big 12, Utah, Arizona State, Kansas State have been eliminated. Mississippi State's been eliminated out of the SEC. But they also have locked teams that they think are already in the NCAA tournament. Duke and Virginia, the ACC, Michigan, Nebraska, Purdue, Michigan State, Illinois, UConn out of the Big East. In the Big 12, Arizona, Iowa State, Houston, Texas Tech, BYU have all punched their ticket in their mind. Vanderbilt out of the SEC and Gonzaga out of the West Coast Conference, where these teams will all make it as an at-large, in their opinion, in the NCAA tournament, just without having to win their respective tournaments. So we'll keep an eye out when JBR's NCAA tournament bracketology list posts the Aztecs as a clinching spot in as an at-large, and it says once the team is locked, they're locked, no exceptions. And they've been pretty accurate, so we'll keep you updated on that. USD basketball was in action last night. We'll tell you their situation. And if you look at the standings of the West Coast Conference, there's a race within the race. We'll talk about that. Plus, we are also in the next segment going to talk about Keith Law and his preseason prospect rankings per team. Not going to like where the Padres were at. We'll take a look at where he ranked the Padres when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number sports station 97 through the Fan. San Diego Gulls are right in the middle of a Pacific Division playoff race, and this past week perfectly summed up who they are right now. Fast starts, gritty road wins, and some real questions offensively when things tighten up. Had a big win at Tucson last week. They won 5-3. A statement road win over a direct division rival. Gulls swept all 4 road games versus Tucson this season. First time since 2016 and 2017 that they were able to do that. Improved to 18-12-6-2 overall and 10-4-4 on the road. Justin Bailey had a big game. He had a goal, 143 in, team leading 14th of the season, and assists for his 300th career AHL point. Jan Mysak, 2 goals, including the game winner. Now 8 of his 9 goals have come on the road. Sasha had a team leading 20 assists, 29 points overall, quietly driving the offense. And net front identity, McClavin stressed in post-game, goals within 5 feet, numbers to the crease. So goaltending, Callie Klang, 27 saves, 3rd straight win, calm, efficient, not scrambling. So you look at the way that they could play on the road, the goals are very, very good in that particular aspect. But you got to look back at what happened against Abbotsford. Even though they had a couple of good games against them not too long ago, a little bit of a reality check in their last game. They got swept by the Canucks, who are the worst team in the Pacific Division, shut out 4-0 in the finale despite 30 shots. Power play went 0 for 7 across the series, and the offense dried up. Win space disappeared. It's a very young team, Frank, but it's a team that's still trying to figure out how to win on a daily basis, and the power play has been a big problem for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we talked about with Matt McIlvain when we had him on right at the beginning of their season, was there are a lot of young, good players here, and these guys are going to get the time to develop now because the Anaheim Ducks are as good as they are. So these younger players aren't going up and learning on the job effectively up in the NHL. They're getting that chance to learn down here in San Diego, and you're seeing that growth with how good they have been. But yeah, that back-to-back against Abbotsford really, really highlighted a couple of big issues. I believe he said they went 0 for 7 on the power play over the course of the 2 games. Not great at all if you're looking for that growth, but could also be just a little bit of a hiccup.
Taking a look at where they're at in the standings right now, they're in 6th place in the Pacific Division with 44 points, leading Tucson by 1 point in the standings, who are at 43 points. They're in 7th place. 1 point separation, as mentioned before, but these are 4-point games every night because you're right there competing with Tucson. And going into Wednesday's game against Tucson, San Diego, the Gulls are, Tucson is the only team they're undefeated against all season, but now it shifts to the home game on Wednesday, and that's what's coming up next. It's the first home matchup versus the Roadrunners this season. Chance for a 5th straight win over Tucson, one of 4 games before the All-Star break, and after that, they got 27 games left. No margin for drifting for the Gulls coming up in their next couple of games. But the big focus is, can the power play respond?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's to play a team like the Tucson Roadrunners. That's where you can kind of get your legs back under you. You've had a lot of success against this team. You've been able to perform very well against this team. You're back in front of your home crowd for quite some time, a home crowd that has consistently been in the top 5 in attendance in the AHL since the team came back 10 years ago. There's a lot that you can focus on and try to recenter yourself against a team you've had so much success against, like Tucson.
This is a Gulls team that, looks like they could potentially play their way into the playoffs. But then if they're able to get their way into the playoffs, are they built to win tight playoff style games or just survive the regular season? The team clearly has an identity, speed, net front scoring, depth scoring. But when teams clamp down, like Abbotsford did the other night, the goals struggled to create a lot of clean looks. And these power play issues, no longer a blip. They're starting to turn into a trend.
Yeah, and that's a part of the youth. And we talked about, again, earlier on in this segment here, about learning down in the AHL where you're supposed to be learning. And this is all about growth. You want to have these problems sorted out by the time these kids are ready to get up to the next level, get to the NHL. The team, though, overall has to gel a lot better on that power play. And again, a game like Tucson here coming up a little bit later on tonight is a perfect opportunity to be able to do something like that.
The San Diego Gulls feel like a team that knows how to win, but hasn't fully learned how to close yet. Let's quickly talk about the Toreros in a second. But I do want to mention that all guests on 97 to the Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future. When charged with a crime since 2010, visit davidpshapirolaw.com. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Big shout out to Joel the Kid joining the membership. We appreciate that. Jake Waters did the same thing on YouTube. We now have that available on the Braden Surprenant Show page. We really appreciate you guys helping us out on that front. Hopefully you guys are liking our new commercial breaks on YouTube as well. Nonstop content on YouTube. It's great. We'll see if we can keep it up. It's all right. There's your goal. It was your goals update for you. All right. We're going to get to the prospect rankings in a second. I remember like 4 or 5 years ago when the Padres, 5 or 6 years, pre-COVID. I'm going to say pre-COVID in this particular case because all these years are starting to blend together. I'm going to say pre-COVID. I remember pre-COVID working at the station, made a big deal about the prospect rankings. Why? Well, because the Padres weren't very good and they were top 5 in farm systems. Almost like every single year. We're going to talk about that in a second. Now it's like, the farm system talk has gone down a little bit. And I start to look at this, and it's the biggest. This is baseball's version of recruiting rankings. 5-star and 4-star players. Trying to evaluate 17, 18, not even that. Trying to evaluate 15 and 16-year-olds. Up to about 22-year-olds. It's almost impossible. Almost impossible. We're going to talk about that in a second. So keep you updated on that. Taking a look at the latest that Joe Lenardi has put out in terms of teams in and out. New Mexico has moved up into a last 4 bye, which I think is significant for San Diego State and where they're at right now. They are currently the automatic qualifier in Joe Lenardi's bracketology because they are leading the Mountain West Conference. But on top of that, the fact that New Mexico, who you already beat at home once, is in there, and Utah State isn't at large right now. I think that bodes well for the Mountain West Conference and potentially having multiple teams in the NCAA tournament, which gives the Aztecs a little bit of a sigh of relief, but they'd still need to go win on Saturday against Utah State. That would be huge for the Aztecs. Now, let's talk about USD last night. They flipped the script to a gritty overtime win at Pepperdine. Pepperdine, not very good. Not very good. Pepperdine's not very good in college basketball. USD played last night. Now, here's the thing with USD. Are they competing for an NCAA tournament spot? Not really. Okay. Like the West Coast Conference is going to have 3 teams. I think they're going to have 3 teams in the NCAA tournament. And I got to look to see where they have Santa Clara. Santa Clara is still a first 4 out team in Joe Lunardi's bracketology. But I think Santa Clara is a NCAA tournament team. But I look at the West Coast Conference. There are 2 races happening in the WCC. There are the top 3 that are trying to get an automatic qualifier into the NCAA tournament. That's the 6th best team in the country, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, who will be in the Aztecs Conference next year in the Pac-12. It's the Santa Clara Broncos, and it's the St. Mary's Gales. Those are the 3. Okay? After that, it is a gigantic chunk of the West Coast Conference competing for buys in the West Coast Conference tournament to go for like a good finish in the season. And as of right now, this is how the West Coast Conference tournament works. The top 2 teams, which is right now Gonzaga and Santa Clara, because Santa Clara beat St. Mary's this season already, they have a bye until Monday, the week of that tournament. And we're going to work our way backwards. The tournament starts on a Thursday, and it ends on a Tuesday. So on Monday, Gonzaga and Santa Clara will finally play their first game. The 1 and 2 seeds get a bye to the semifinals. The 3 and the 4 seeds, St. Mary's and right now Pacific, who USD split with this year, get a bye till Sunday. On Saturday, then you get the next 2 byes, which would be the 5 and 6 best teams in the West Coast Conference. Currently, San Francisco and Washington State. Then you go back to Friday. They get a bye. That's Oregon State and San Diego. And then the bottom 4 teams start the tournament on Thursday as you work your way through. Obviously, the more byes that you have, the better the chances you have of making it through the tournament, potentially putting a resume together to make some postseason tournament, right? So as of right now, the top 3 teams are all separated by 1 game. Gonzaga, Santa Clara, and St. Mary's. They're all separated by 1 game in the standings. And then there's a 2.5 game drop-off, 2.5 game drop-off. And Pacific to LMU is separated by 4 games. Anywhere between 4th place and having to play in the opening rounds. San Diego finds themselves right now tied for 7th with Oregon State and a game against the Beavers on Saturday. They needed that win last night against Pepperdine, who was 1-9 in conference, 6-17 on the year, and just not a very good team. But it took overtime last night for the Toreros to try to pull this off. They were down 9 points with under 5 minutes left on the road without their star point guard, Tyler Johnson, after he fouled out, which makes things even more difficult. I mean, Tyler Johnson is the key cog to USD basketball. We talk about that in our weekly USD report. I mean, this guy is the best of the team. They needed some help in other ways. ESPN Analytics gave USD a 6.3% chance to win with 5 minutes to go and their best player out. They responded with toughness, shot-making belief. San Diego ripped off a 9-0 run, forced overtime, then dominated the extra session to beat Pepperdine 92-88 in a game that swung wildly with 14 lead changes and 7 ties, kind of win that changes how a team sees itself. Road game at Firestone Fieldhouse. USD entered 0-10 when trailing at halftime. Able to snap that. It's their first overtime game for the Toreros since December 2022. Star point guard Tyler Johnson fouled out late. Pepperdine led by as many as 10 points in the second half. Despite all that, USD was able to stay composed, won the rebounding battle, executed at an elite level when it mattered most. Tenari Lane, ice in his veins. He had a season-high 21 points, 5 threes, which ties the season high for him in a game, with 3 coming in the clutch, scored when everything tightened up. Asan Diop, absolute force last night, 21 points, 17 rebounds. He was 9 for 10 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3, played nearly 40 minutes last night for the Toreros, career highs across the board. And then you look at the overtime execution, definitely night and day. In overtime, USD was 3 for 4 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, and 9 of 10 from the free throw line. Pepperdine, 4 for 12, and 1 for 7 from 3. That's poise in overtime. Good win for the Toreros. It was tough, though, because they endured multiple extended shooting droughts that we have seen them do all season long. They went 1 for 14 during one stretch, still struggled to score consistently in the half court, but they were able to get the win. And right now, they set themselves up to potentially play their way out of a situation where they would have to play on a Thursday night. That is your update on what happened with USD last night in the game. It was a heck of a game. They were able to do it without Tyler Johnson, which is really impressive. But if you look at the standings in the West Coast Conference, they're right there in the thick of things, only 2 games behind Pacific, who currently leads that final spot for a bye on Sunday in the WCC tournament. Let's transition into baseball. Couple of things with baseball. We had this news come out today. So, Keith Law put out his team rankings for Major League Baseball for the prospect rankings. Okay? Farm system rankings, if you will. Kylie McDaniel did the exact same thing. Padres are both ranked, or the Padres are ranked in the exact same spot for both rankings. Anybody want to guess where the Padres are at? It's not going to be great. Padres, according to Keith Law, are in the bottom tier, tier 8, ranked 30th in all of baseball when it comes to their farm system. Well, that's just Keith Law. Let's look at Kylie McDaniel. Kylie McDaniel also has the Padres as 30th in the farm system rankings. He had this to say, Kylie McDaniel. The Padres hold on to the last spot that they first claimed after the trade deadline, though they moved into the bottom 5 farm systems a year before. Before the 2024 season, they had the 4th-ranked system in baseball, helping to pinpoint exactly when general manager A.J. Preller decided to move his chips to the middle of the table. Top prospect Ethan Salas has stagnated a bit and also been injured, while the prep lefties taken with the first 2-round picks and Cruz Schoolcraft and Cash Mayfield are getting solid reviews, and Tucker Musgrove is a popular sleeper with stats type. That's a look at the prospect ranking. 30th in baseball. The Astros are 1 spot in front of them on Kylie McDaniel's deal. The Angels are 1 spot in front of them, according to Keith Law. Now, to me, I view this a couple of different ways. From a positive perspective, you look at these rankings, and you know what? I think a lot of it's eyewash, because how many times have the Padres been top 5 in farm system rankings and then didn't really do anything with it? How many times? A lot. It's been a decent amount. I don't necessarily view these farm system rankings as end-all be-all. Now, you don't want to be dead last. You don't want to be dead last in multiple. But to sit here and say that it's an overall bad thing for the Padres and they got to start trading some stars to make the farm system better is kind of ridiculous. Because you look at a lot of the teams that are good in baseball right now, that are playoff caliber teams, they're in the bottom 20 in the farm system rankings. There's only one team that is near the top. Well, there's really 2, because the Brewers got picked to be the best farm system in baseball in both of these rankings. But how has that benefited a lot of teams in the last handful of years? Dodgers are ranked 4th in Kylie McDaniel's, and they're ranked 2nd in Keith Law's. I want to take a look back at some of the names of some of these top farm systems that the Padres had over the years and look at how many times has it actually burned the Padres. I know the morning show was discussing this, and we're going to talk about this in the next hour. Start going through the list of prospects that A.J. Preller shipped out and tell me how many of them legitimately burned San Diego or continues to burn San Diego compared to what they got back in the trade. Sometimes, and there's still a couple of outstanding members of this, like a Leo DeVries with the Oaklamento A's, like a James Wood, right? That's with the Washington Nationals. But as I look at the prospect rankings and I look at the farm system rankings, there's one thing in particular that stands out that I think really makes you have to think about how you manage the trade deadline and how you manage trading prospects. And all you need to do is look back into history to see how that has affected the Padres. Because I think A.J. Preller views his farm system a little bit different than a lot of teams in Major League Baseball. I don't think he views it as this is how I'm going to improve the rest of my roster using these players. I think he views it as capital and currency to make the Major League Baseball team the best it possibly can. And to be honest with you, I don't really have a problem with that, because there's a lot of teams out there that will continue to trade away elite talent that they have in order to get more prospects. And it doesn't always work out that way. We'll talk more about this when we come back in the next hour. And speaking of prospects, could CJ Abrams end up back in San Diego? I tell you what, that would make that Nationals trade that the Padres made even more interesting. The Padres ended up getting CJ Abrams back. We'll talk about that in the next hour, too, as we start our baseball hour on the Braden Surprenant Show, setting us on Sports Station 97.2 The Fan. 11 o'clock hour is our baseball hour during the off season. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the farm system rankings for Major League Baseball that came out. Keith Law put out his top farm systems in baseball. Kylie McDaniel put out his top farm systems in Major League Baseball. And the Padres didn't do very well in either of those categories or either of those lists. In fact, they came in dead last in both of them. But I look at how this plays out, and to me, I don't think AJ Preller views the farm system as prospects he has to keep all the time. I think he views it as capital. And what do I mean by that? My question is, and here's my question on these farm system rankings, because the Padres, and I went back and looked, since 2017, from 2017 to 2021, the Padres had a top 10 farm system. In fact, they were in the top 6 in every year from 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 21. In 2017, they were the 4th best farm system in baseball. In 2018 and 2019, they were the best farm system in baseball. In 2020, they were the 2nd best farm system in baseball. And in 2021, despite all those trades at the COVID deadline, they were the 6th best farm system in baseball. Okay? How many of those prospects that were top 100 prospects for the Padres that got them to this spot ended up burning the Padres? Let's talk about that for a second. We went over what Baseball America put out in terms of essentially, if you're trading for players and they're not a top 100 prospect, the odds of them being a contributing player or a star or a superstar is very slim. More likely than not, prospects that are not top 100 prospects are not going to be very good players. In fact, they'll probably end up being a bust. These are guys that are not top 100 players, right? So when talking about that and using that particular data, let's look at the top 100 prospects for the Padres since 2017, at least from 2017 to 2021. This is when they had top farm systems in baseball. Let me know which one of these guys has burned the Padres. You ready for this, Frank?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, Padres had the 4th best farm system in baseball in 2017. The Padres' top 100 prospects on that farm system: Manny Margot, number 23. Turn your mic on. Anderson Espinoza, 25, best prospect in baseball. Hunter Renfroe,
no.
And Cal Quantrill,
no.
How many of those guys did you think, man, I really wish we wanted this guy for the entire time?
Cal Quantrill's probably the only guy.
But Cal Quantrill,
about that
career is not.
No, it hasn't been good.
He's a serviceable player. Yeah. He's not a terrible player. He probably can give you some pitching depth here or there, but he's not a guy that you're sitting there going like, man, we really let Cal Quantrill go.
No, I'm not upset that you missed out on him, no.
Yeah. Are any of these players that you are upset you missed out on having them for most of their career?
No, I was thinking more at the time, Cal Quantrill was kind of like that guy. He's like, really? We had to give away him? But
well, if you really want him back, as Go Aztecs said, you can go sign him. He's still available.
Can. Yeah, he's available in free agency now.
He's still available.
He's the only guy. He's the only guy at the time I was like,
Maybe. His career is 7.6 WAR. His career ERA is 4.35. I mean, he's had a solid Major League Baseball career, but he's 30 years old now. He's going to be 31 next season. I mean, the height of his career was when he was 26, playing in Cleveland. He was 8-3 with a 2.89. You got 1 year. That one solid year out of him. Everything else, he's been under a 2 WAR as a starting pitcher. Most of it's been negative. You look at his ERA plus across the board, he has only been an above average player twice. And one of those years was COVID. So you look at the 2017 list. This is when they had the 4th best farm system in baseball. I don't think any of those guys hurt you in the long run.
No,
I don't think so either. Let's look at 2018. Padres had the number 1 farm system in baseball. Now, some of these guys are actually on your team. Let's look at number 1. Fernando Tatis Jr. Well, that's kind of worked out for the Padres. They didn't trade him away.
It depends who and when you ask as to whether or not Fernando hurts you or not.
Yeah. Well, he's not on another team. Okay, so Fernando Tatis Jr., hey, that's worked out, I would say.
Yeah, it worked out.
You signed him to a statute contract. He is now going to be a very affordable player. I think if you would have traded him away for more prospects, people would be very upset. I think missing out on his career would be worse. They kept him. Mackenzie Gore. You could probably use Mackenzie Gore right now, but overall, Mackenzie Gore, he's been a solid pitcher, but he's not Jacob deGrom. He's not Max Scherzer. He's not Justin Verlander. He's not Clayton Kershaw in his prime. He's a solid piece. He's never had under a 3.9 ERA. He's been over a 4 ERA for every year of his career. He has had a 1.9 WAR once. It was his first year in Washington. In terms of ERA plus, which rates, if you're over 100, you're better than an average player. He's only been better than an average player once. Luis Urias. What's he up to right now? Anybody know what Luis Urias is doing? What team is he on? I don't even know what team he's on.
He was with Milwaukee most recently, wasn't he?
Well, that was the trade that they made. They sent to Milwaukee. Is Luis Urias killing you right now?
Was he a part of the Hader trade?
I think he was part of the Hader deal. Luis Urias. No, that doesn't hurt you too much. Back to Cal Quantrill. No. By the way, he jumped to prospect number 40 from 2017 when he was 97. Michelle Baez. I don't even think that guy's playing anymore. Michelle Baez hurt you?
No.
Top 100 prospect in 2018. Adrian Morejon. Well, he's on the team. Didn't trade him away. Kept him. That's pretty solid. Anderson Espinoza. No, again. The two guys that have had the best careers out of that group so far are who?
By the way, Anderson Espinoza in that 1 year dropped from 25 to 89.
In 2016, he was probably even higher. He was the most coveted piece ever when the Padres got him from Boston. And I think he was part of... Was he part of the Adrian Gonzalez trade? No, it wasn't the Adrian Gonzalez trade, but they got him from one of their trades with Boston. I think he was in the Drew Pomeranz trade. He was the future stud pitcher that was going to be the case. I can't remember off the top of my head. But he was supposed to be the guy that was future ace of the staff. He kept getting hurt. He had Tommy John twice. Fell off the map. Out of those prospects I mentioned, what two have had the best careers so far in Major League Baseball?
The two you kept.
The two that are still on the team. 2019, Padres, number 1 farm system in baseball. Mac G, third best prospect in all of baseball. We already talked about him. Luis Urias. Taylor Trammell.
Oh.
Has Taylor Trammell hurt you at all, not being part of the Padres anymore?
No.
Probably not. Luis Patino. Remember Luis Patino? Him and Gore were supposed to be our number 1 and 2 pitchers here in San Diego. Has Luis Patino hurt you at all? You traded him to Tampa as part of the Blake Snell trade, and where did he end up? Back in San Diego. He ended up back with the organization. I'd have to do some research. I don't know if they kept him or not after the other Tommy John that he had. He was on a minor league deal. Who knows if he's still part of this organization or not? I'd have to double check. Luis Patino ain't hurting you, and he's back on the Padres. Next guy on the list, CJ Abrams. Well, we're about to talk about could CJ Abrams end up back in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
CJ Abrams, he's an all-star. He's had a solid, year or two in Washington. But I don't know. Is it better to have CJ Abrams or Michael King and everybody that came with Juan Soto? You traded for a future Hall of Famer for that one. I don't think CJ Abrams is really killing you that bad. And you could still make him part of your team.
Yeah, in context of the trade, no, I wouldn't say so.
No, absolutely not. Right now, probably it'd be great to have CJ Abrams, but guess what? Everybody keeps floating the idea out there that the Padres could potentially trade for CJ Abrams. Wouldn't that be something? Xavier Edwards.
He's starting to show his ability in Miami, but no,
you didn't trade him to Miami. You traded him to Tampa, and then he got left out, and now he's in Miami. That's a decent player. Hit 283 last year. Done an okay job in Miami. But he's not killing the Padres.
No, No.
2024, he was better than an average player. Last year, 94 on his OPS plus. He's still below an average player. Not hurting you. Adrian Morejon again, he's on your team.
And by the way, he dropped from 50 to 87 in that 1 year.
Now, Adrian Morejon, when he was signed as a international
Starter.
teenager, was supposed to be a starter.
Yes.
So as he becomes more of a reliever, he falls down on the prospect rankings because starters are obviously a little bit more valuable to a lot of teams. 2020, okay? 2020, the Padres still had the second best farm system. Mackenzie Gore talked about him. Abrams talked about him. Luis Patino talked about him. Luis Camposano. What do we think about that? He's one of the ones that you kept. You have to make a decision on whether or not you want to keep this guy this year because he is out of options. So he has to play his way onto the team to be the backup catcher because he's not even going to be the catcher for the Padres this year. And even that is kind of a question mark. There's reports about the Padres needing to potentially bring in another catcher to create competition. So it's not a foregone conclusion for Luis Camposano that he thinks he's the backup catcher. That's all you need to know about that particular situation. And then you got Taylor Trammell again. Where have any of these guys that have been shipped off for better talent at the major league level have come back to hurt you? I've yet to find one. Then you go to 2021. Mackenzie Gore, CJ Abrams, Luis Camposano, Robert Hassel III. How has that worked out? Is he even with the big league club in Washington?
I believe he might be. Let me see.
He was a first-round draft pick last year at the big league level.
He's been an up and down guy. Dylan Cruz has kind of passed him by.
He still has potential, maybe, but right now he doesn't hurt you. His OPS plus last year was a 62. Remember, an average player is 100, and his WAR last year was a negative 0.1. He played in 70 games, had 197 at-bats, had 44 hits, hit 223 with a 572 OPS. Is he hurting you? No. These are your top 100 prospects when you were the number 1, number 2, and number 6 farm systems in Major League Baseball. They have not hurt you so far. Now, that being said, there are players like a James Wood who could potentially hurt you, right? There are, you could talk about the Josh Naylors of the world as part of your farm system when you acquired him in previous trades before. But even then, like the farm system during that time when they were part of the organization were not players on farm systems that were in the top 5 or 6 in Major League Baseball. You could say about maybe Andres Munoz, but let's talk about Andres Munoz for a second. Andres Munoz plays a position that is not super valuable in Major League Baseball, a closer. You can find a lot of closers out there. And by the way, while Andres Munoz was doing a great job as a closer for Seattle, you have had all-star closers at the same time with Robert Suarez, all-star closer with, you got Mason Miller now. So in where that guy would be playing and where the bullpen is for the Padres, Andres Munoz is a really good player, but you have better players now. Who's better, Andres Munoz or Mason Miller? If you did a trade, Andres Munoz for Mason Miller right now, who's getting hosed? It's the Padres. Mason Miller's better than Andres Munoz. I use this exercise to show that there's no guarantee with the prospects. And you could talk about the 30th team, the 30th farm system in baseball and all this, yada, 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 yada. We heard it going into last year. They were bottom 5 in farm systems, yet they still pulled off a bunch of trades to get guys like Mason Miller into the building. A.J. Preller uses his farm system as capital. A.J. Preller uses his farm system as currency, and he gets top-line players for the Major League club. The only thing that's concerning about this is there might not be as much capital out there for the Padres with the farm system. But you know what the Padres have done year in and year out? Done very well in international signings. They've done really well in drafts, and they have replenished the farm system multiple times. But as I go through that list, Frank, and everybody wants to criticize A.J. Preller for some of these trades, I would rather have him go out there and get top-level talent at these trade deadlines that help the team win than potentially letting some of these guys walk or trading them when they get to their peak for more prospects back.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially if you're trading guys away at their peak for more prospects, that means you're doing what Washington's doing. You're doing what Miami does. You're doing what Tampa Bay is doing. And you're not really competing. You're kind of just floundering. You're just kind of existing. So the fact that you're in this position to get aggressive to try to get these guys, I think is a pretty good sign that you're doing something right, at least.
I think so too.
Good teams don't wait on prospects.
No. I mean, look at some of these other organizations. Now, there's other organizations that, trade away guys at their peak. They sell high, like a Milwaukee Brewers. They have a top farm system in baseball in both of these rankings. And you start to make the comparison between the Padres and the Brewers, or who would you rather be? And you know what? The Brewers have won divisions. The Brewers have had a lot of success. But at the end of the day, both teams have 0 World Series for it. And so would you rather be the team that's trading Nick Pivetta before the season starts, like the Brewers did? Or would you rather be the Padres in trying to add talent to improve your major league roster? I mean, these are the areas that you have to be when it comes to teams that compete. I mean, the Brewers continually get more crap for not spending enough money. They spend a higher percentage on their payroll than the Red Sox do, and the Cubs. Nobody wants to give them crap ever. But the reality of the situation is there's multiple ways to build your major league team. And for me, I'd rather have the major league team as good as possible. Now, where this hurts you is depth when things get hurt, when players get hurt, right? That's where it hurts you. But at the same time, there's no guarantees. And how many times have the Padres been burned by trading away a star and getting nothing back in return? I look at the Adrian Gonzalez trade. I look at the Jake Peavy trade. Now, there have been some good ones. James Shields to the White Sox. You fleeced them for Fernando Tatis Jr., but teams that do those trades all the time would have traded Fernando instead of giving him a contract extension. And I would rather be the Padres, who give young players contract extensions and keep the right players, than I would rather be the Brewers, who lets certain players walk. And we'll see what Atlanta does. Atlanta's got a tough decision to make when it comes to Ronald Acuna Jr. in a couple of years, because he's going to be right there in his prime. And they didn't give him that. They already gave him that one contract. And look what they've done with the other players. Dansby Swanson, at a certain point, they didn't give him a long-term deal because he passed that. They let him walk. They let Freddie Freeman walk. I'm curious to see what the Braves are going to do. But let's go back to one of these prospects that might have the potential to burn the Padres. Could he end up back on the Padres? A lot of people saying he might. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. San Diego FC is officially back in the spotlight. It's not easing into 2026 either. It's jumping straight into international competition. Big roster news, big expectations, and a massive test coming up at Snapdragon Stadium next week. Roster move. Patty McNair departure. San Diego FC has transferred defender Patty McNair to the EFL Championship side, Hull City, on a permanent deal while retaining a future sell-on percentage. McNair was part of San Diego FC's original backbone, joining before the inaugural season and starting in the club's first ever MLS match, the 2-0 win over the LA Galaxy. In total, he made 25 appearances, 21 starts, 1 assist, does have some playoff experience, but this isn't just a player leaving, it's a signal. San Diego FC is officially operating like that global club that you would want them to operate as. They signed McNair, they showcased him in the MLS, and they moved him back to Europe while protecting long-term value. That's pretty smart roster management, not a step backward for San Diego FC.
Oh, absolutely. And for those of you who maybe don't know how transfers or deals in international soccer work, so basically what they did was San Diego FC, when they sold him to Hull City, allowed themselves, they put in a sell-on clause. So basically, if they sell Patty McNair for, say, $2 million, they get a percentage of the sale that they sell Patty McNair for in the future. So again, another very smart move by San Diego FC on the business side. On the defensive play side, you signed Luca Bombino to an extension. There are certainly players that will fill in for Patty McNair.
Let's talk about what it means now on the field. It's a very young defensive unit for San Diego FC. With McNair gone, the youth movement is no longer a theory. That's kind of the plan now for San Diego FC. Bold, considering what's coming next. They got Liga MX competition, experienced attackers, and elite international talent. Question becomes, do you trust youth and chemistry with this defense for San Diego FC?
We saw how good it can be in the latter stage of the season, and the unbelievable goal line stop that Ian Pilcher made before the games against the Whitecaps. That was absolutely huge, and that youthful exuberance can really help you. However, we saw against Vancouver that youthful inexperience can definitely hurt you. So a year under their belts already. Now they're getting time to play as normal everyday starters. This could be a big growth and development year for that San Diego FC backline.
And they're back in action on February 3rd. Now, they're not going to open up the season with MLS play, but it's the international stage. It is a CONCACAF Champions Cup game for San Diego FC. Frank, who are they playing, and what is the big update, or should I say, what is the scouting report on this game next week?
So they're going to be playing the Liga MX side, UNAM Pumas. This will be on February 3rd, so this upcoming Tuesday at Snapdragon Stadium. Pumas are going to bring quite a dynamic midfield to this game. Also, Guillermo Martinez, a dangerous striker, likes to use the body. And Pumas, with the way Liga MX all do their season, they cut it virtually in half. This team is already in mid-season form. Meanwhile, for San Diego FC, this is the first time they've played together since that game against the Vancouver Whitecaps to close out the MLS Cup playoffs. But they are coming off of the most successful expansion season in any MLS team's history.
And you look at San Diego FC, I mean, they're coming off of a 63-point Western Conference winning season. This is San Diego FC's first match of 2026. They'll be going against a very good and veteran goalkeeper for Unam. But why San Diego FC can belong, it's got to look no further than Andres Dreyer and then his sidekick in Pellegrino.
Yeah, and that was the sidekick of Chucky Lozano last year. We were expecting Lozano to have the sidekick of Dreyer, but Dreyer last year, MLS Newcomer of the Year. If it wasn't for Lionel Messi, he would have won the MLS MVP award last year. And now you have Amal Pellegrino on his side, and Pellegrino really fit very, very well towards the back end of the season when everything was going on with San Diego FC and Chucky Lozano. They really have to figure out that striker, whether it's going to be a shadow striker or whether they're going to rely on somebody to take point up front if Dreyer and Pellegrino can't get the goals, but they certainly do have a lot of power in the forward positions.
We'll see how San Diego FC does in 2026 if they can build off of what they did last year. Looking forward to the game next week. August on 97 through the Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Farmers Insurance Open is going on right now at Torrey Pines. We will try to keep you updated on that as the tournament plays on throughout the afternoon. But what beautiful scenes that we have seen today at Torrey Pines. This is why this tournament has to be on this tour at all times. As of right now, Max Gracerman leads. He's 5 strokes under today. He's under 5 through 9. He is playing the North Course. I would imagine most of the North Course guys are doing very well. Max McGreevy actually doing pretty well in the South Course. He's 4 under through 8. If you look at he's tied with a couple other players. Rounding up the top 5, Eric Cole, Austin Eckroat, and Maverick McNeely are all tied for 5th place, all 3 under. They're through a couple of holes so far on that particular deal. Other bigger names for you to pay attention to on the PGA Tour. Hideki Matsuyama is 2 under. He's through 3 on the North Course at Torrey Pines. Jason Day tied for 10th with Matsuyama. He's under 2. He's 2 under as well. Other names for you on this list. Not as great of days to get things started. Billy Horschel is 1 under through 3. Justin Rose is 1 under through 2. Adam Scott 1 under through 2. Tom Hoagie is even through 8. As we continue to go down the list here, trying to find some of the other big time names for this for the tournament. Patrick Cantley is even through 3. Going through the list, Xander Schauffele was off to a really tough start to the deal. Brooks Koepka, JJ Spaun, Max Homa are all 1 over. Koepka's through 7. Max Homa's through 7. JJ Spaun is in fact through 6. Tony Finau is +1 through 2. Xander Schauffele is 2 over through 6. As I mentioned before, a little bit of a tough draw to get started. Still a handful of golfers that still need to tee off. Last tee times of the day, 11:11 a.m. and 11:22 a.m. It is a Chamber of Commerce type day out there at Torrey Pines, for sure. So we will get you more updates as that goes about. South Course is tough. It looks like again today. We'll try to keep you updated as much as possible throughout the day. Let's talk about this CJ Abrams situation and him potentially being traded by the Washington Nationals. Now, the Nationals traded Mackenzie Gore without acquiring any top 100 prospects. That being said, it sounded like the Giants had made an offer for CJ Abrams and they threw in a top 100 prospect. I don't know what the asking price is for a guy like CJ Abrams, but a very interesting conversation to be had about CJ Abrams being on the move and the fact that the Padres seem to be a fit, according to a lot of rumors out there in Major League Baseball. What is your overall thoughts on that? Well, for me, I'd like to see CJ Abrams back in a Padres uniform to get him and Jackson Merrill back in the same organization. I think it would be great. Some of the rumors were, how much did CJ Abrams really like playing baseball was a big reason, or should I say a big concern for him when the Padres ended up shipping him off to Washington as part of that Juan Soto deal. But he's still a very young player. He could take over shortstop in the next couple of years with Xander Bogaerts, obviously getting older for the San Diego Padres. The only way this makes sense for me, though, is if the Padres trade for CJ Abrams and they bring him back, which would be an athlete for this team, and I think it'd be an upgrade for this team as well. What do you have to give up, as well as can you get him to a contract extension? Because I don't want to see the Padres, parting ways with assets only for a couple of years of CJ Abrams, Frank.
No, we just talk about trading away prospects and how it hasn't hurt you, and now we're saying probably not for CJ Abrams. But I wouldn't mind seeing CJ Abrams back. Now that more or less will push Jake Cronenworth back to first base. I would have to assume they would move Abrams over to second, not wanting to go through the whole thing with Xander Bogaerts again, especially this close to spring training. I think it rounds out your lineup a little bit better. I think that gives you a little bit of pop from the second base position, a little bit more than what Jake Cronenworth gives you. It's another all-star on the roster. I would be okay with trading for CJ Abrams, and I think it would make the Padres a lot better off today than where they were yesterday if they were to do it today.
I look at it, too, from a couple of different perspectives. Like now, MLB insider John Heyman floated San Diego as a potential landing spot for the Washington Nationals shortstop, noting that the Nationals are clearly pivoting toward a long-term rebuild. Washington already traded Mackenzie Gore, a controllable young pitcher, for a package of prospects, signaling that no young, valuable player is untouchable. That logic extends directly to Abrams, who debuted with the Padres in 2022 before being dealt in the Juan Soto trade, as mentioned before. And he's still productive and very young. He has a .257 batting average, 19 homers, 60 RBIs, 31 stolen bases. On paper, he's exactly the kind of player that teams like Washington would trade before peak value, not after. Heyman's key takeaway wasn't just the fit, but the decision maker. That sounds like an AJ Preller type move. He said that yesterday in kind of a question and answer. I mean, you look at a guy like CJ Abrams and what he could potentially bring to the Padres. I mean, you're looking for young players too when you have aging veterans like Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado. CJ Abrams comes in at 25 years old this season. He has, got the growing pains out with Washington. He made the All-Star team in 2024. He's put together some pretty good numbers, and he still has control for a little bit when it comes to overall salary and things like that. I mean, you look at how much he's getting paid right now. He's getting paid $4.2 million. He's got arbitration in 2027, arbitration in 2028. He's a free agent in 2029. You bring him in, you get 3 years of control out of him, and then you let him walk maybe in 2029, or maybe by that point, he's good enough to be a player that you want long term. Maybe you only sign him for a couple of years, right? He's going to be 25 this year. 26, 27, he'll be a free agent in 2028. Maybe you buy him out of arbitration and take the first 2 years and make him a free agent when he's 31 years old and make it work for you in terms of your roster, because that fits in with the plans for the Padres, and that's a young piece that you have now back in the organization.
Yeah, that's a young piece that you have, a young controllable piece for a little while, and a piece that's moldable. I think you could probably get a little bit more out of him, that he's motivated to play for a better team. Padres were kind of still on the ascent when he came up, and he was not ready when he came up. They used him as a showcase to possibly move him for the first half of that season. He's ready now. He's established a little bit. He's grown up a little bit, which from what we heard was possibly a problem with CJ while he was here. But for right now, I would very much welcome seeing him back at Petco Park in the
brown and gold.
Brown and gold. There it is.
Wake up.
I was going to say
it's Thursday.
I was going to say blue and gold. So I was.
Wow, you're going to get booed.
Yeah,
that's a foul. If you're going to say blue and gold, that's a foul. Are you kidding me?
That's where I stopped myself, though.
But then you admitted that's what you were going to say, and then you outed yourself.
Yep. So, I'm an honest person.
No, there you go. I mean, I think it's an interesting conversation to have. If what if you trade for Abrams and then you trade away Jake Cronenworth? And then use the money. I mean, because, Cronenworth's 32 this year. He's going to be, 33, 34, 35. He doesn't become a free agent until his at the end of his age 35 season. And you need to get a little bit younger. We talked about it. Abrams, you'd be getting him for 25, 26, and 27 when he's that age. And now you have 3 young players that can counteract the aging Manny Machado, the aging Xander Bogaerts, who are under contract. And you have Merrill, Tatis, and Abrams. And you're good up the middle.
It's a good young core for sure.
It's a good young core that you can then build around with other players. And then it keeps you youthful as you have these players under long-term contracts. It's not that bad of an idea. Now, I don't know, is the thing is with like Jake Cronenworth, his production has been better than what his going rate is currently. I mean, you almost have him on a deal at $12.2 million a year.
Right. On a deal for a second baseman, though. You're expecting your first baseman to be a power hitting position, and Jake is not that.
Yeah, but he's still affordable for a lot of positions.
Definitely. No, I agree. He's definitely affordable.
He can play second base at any other organization.
I agree, but if you look at the contract, you would expect more out of him as a first baseman, especially from the power and slug wise, than you would expect from him as a second baseman. It's a great value for a second baseman right now, his Cronenworth's contract.
Well, first baseman that hit a lot more home runs, he'd make a lot more money too. I mean, you'd be if you had him as a first baseman, you'd be getting a more overall hitter at a very cheap and a better defender for a cheaper price. I mean, he's played over his contract at this point in time for what the going rate is for any infielder at $12 million a year.
Mm.
So for me, like now, if you have to find a time to trade Jake Cronenworth, now would be somewhat of a time to trade him.
I would definitely, if you got CJ Abrams, I would definitely do it.
I would 100% do it.
Without him, I would still probably lean towards doing it, but that would probably be a deadline move if I didn't get him.
I would trade for. If you trade for CJ Abrams, you trade away Jake Cronenworth.
Arise played first base out of necessity.
Yeah,
You
that's
wanted
because he
his
doesn't have
bat-
a position.
Yeah, you wanted his bat in the lineup. He doesn't have a position. He could play first base. That's the reason why
You
he
don't
was
want
there.
him playing first base.
Exactly. That was done out of need.
And Jake's a good defender. I think Jake Cronenworth's wasted at first base because he's a good middle infielder.
Yes.
And on most teams, that's where he's usually playing. But you needed, for a while, it was you got to have Hassan Kim and Xander Bogaerts, and you're trying to, force a lot of different spots in there. But if you were to trade, here's what I would do. I'll tell you what I will do. Well, we got to go to break. But involve the CJ Abrams trade. I think there's a way that you can make this happen and free up payroll. I just think the Nationals are going to ask for a high asking price. But here's what I would do when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standings Number One Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Farmers Insurance Open in town this weekend as San Diego will be the host of the PGA. It's part of the overall tour that, as we've discussed on the show before, something that's not necessarily a given for San Diego moving forward. What do I mean by that? Well, the PGA Tour is trying to redo the schedule. Now, this is very important because the Farmers Insurance Open is one of those events that's around the calendar for the PGA Tour that they're trying to rework. It's a very important event here in San Diego. Dates back to 1952, has been played at Torrey Pines for 59 straight years, one of the oldest continuous tour stops. And despite that, nothing is guaranteed until the PGA reveals its long-term vision. This is something that is a tournament that is so recognizable here in San Diego, but also for the rest of the United States, and something that definitely needs to continue on the new PGA Tour. But the big problem is for the Farmers Insurance Open, if and when it comes back, which I think is going to come back, it has to have the new name and a new title sponsor. But this is a tournament that has to be part of the PGA Tour.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. It is, as we said, it's been so iconic for San Diego. Dates all the way back to 1952. It's been played at Torrey Pines for the last 59 years. It's the perfect open to a season. I mean, when you really think about it, this is where the PGA Tour season really starts. I know it's not the first official stop, but when you think about when the golf season starts, Torrey Pines in San Diego, whatever the tournament's name may be, is where you think of.
We talked about it on our show a couple of days ago, but the reality is there's a lot of other tournaments that they can lop off with not as big of purses that would save the Farmers Insurance Open. And there's a couple of big reasons why I think the Farmers Insurance Open will stay. One of them being, the media presence for this thing. I mean, ESPN, for the first time in 20 years, will air live coverage of a non-major PGA Tour event on the first 2 days of the Farmers Insurance Open, which signals, I think, to me, the event still carries very much a national value. And here's the other reason why. When it's an iconic tournament, you see the ocean views. It feels like a major championship pedigree, even though it doesn't carry that in the PGA Tour. But a lot of emotional ties to star players, and no player does this course loom larger for than Tiger Woods, who has won the Farmers 7 times and has also won a U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. His personal history here helped elevate the event, I think, nationally, but also Tiger chairs the PGA Tour's future competition committee, which is the one that is shaping up the tour to what it will look like beyond 2027. I think this is a big play. ESPN being involved, wanting to air it, as well as Tiger Woods having a lot of nostalgia at this tournament.
Yeah, I believe we said this is the only non-major that ESPN is broadcasting. Now, they're broadcasting just the first 2 days of it, but especially you're picking up the first 2 days. You're picking up day one and cut day. Now, it's only for 3 hours. You're going from 9 a.m. to noon Pacific time, but still, that is major for ESPN to fork out the money to be able to broadcast the first couple days of a tournament instead of the last two, and also shows their willingness to want to broadcast this. I think really highlights how special the PGA Tour at San Diego really is.
The Farmers Insurance Open, again, and we're going to talk about, or should we say, is, they got some big names in the tournament field still. Still a lot of big names. Brooks Koepka, who just came back from the Live Tour, will be in it. Max Homa, Ludwig Arberg, Harris English, San Diegans, Xander Schauffele, JJ Spawn, Jason Day, Justin Rose, Hideki Matsuyama. I mean, there's still a lot of big names on the tour that participate in this. But the bottom line is for the Farmers Insurance Open, it's not in immediate danger, but it's no longer untouchable. And this future hinges on sponsorship replacement, PGA Tour restructuring, and whether history and identity still matter in a modern tour chasing scarcity and stars. And I'm curious to see how this plays out. But to me, I think it's better for the PGA Tour to have the Farmers Insurance Open, or should I say Torrey Pines, part of the tour.
Yeah, 100%. And whatever name it ends up going under, that's the first step, is getting the name. Once you can get that sponsor, get that locked in, your future at a place is really set. And I don't think that San Diego is going to have to try too hard to try to lure a big name sponsor in for such a prestigious tournament.
Should be a fun time at the Farmers Insurance Open. We'll see you at Torrey. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Thanks again for tuning in to the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I want to remind everybody to tune in at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a future Padres game with all the fan staff. Register your name at 97throughthefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. That's coming up at 1 o'clock.
I just wanted to say, yesterday I said this might be the last couple times. This might be the last one. The sheet got updated today. It's updated through the end of February. So we are going to have many, many more chances for the biggest fan.
That's awesome. Does that mean you can keep signing up?
I don't know.
Possibly. Probably.
I don't know.
Nice. What do you know?
Nothing.
Apparently.
Which is why I'm on this side.
No. You know how to run that machine over there.
I do.
As do I. You know who doesn't? Gwen and Chris. Did you not hear that part where Scraby was trying to get them to do it for a segment? Tony was all on board for it.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
The tune in for the train wreck would be awesome with Chris Ello trying to run the board.
I would love that. See,
Chris can't even access like the Google Doc more times than not for his show rundown. Scraby has to print it for him.
Yeah, Scraby does have to print the show rundown for Chris.
Yes.
Chris
versus technology is just amazing.
I would love that. Again, it wouldn't be fun because we've both done this side, but
yeah, I know how to do that. I'm not.
It would be fun just so they get an appreciation for what you have to do on this side, because it's not just running the board, it's not just firing the brakes. You're also doing all the computer stuff, you're podcasting, you're cutting audio, you're trying to find things at a second's notice. It's not as easy as it looks, all while trying to pay attention. I admit straight up that I don't listen to him. So it's not easy over here.
They make you do a lot of moving parts over there.
Yes.
A lot of posting, a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we have to get done throughout the day. That I have had experience doing for a long time. But yeah, Tony was like down. I mean, to like learn how to use the board. Just in case, like, you got to get something going, right? You got to know how that thing works. How does that thing work?
That would be a fantastic idea for spring training. Have Jesse and Dave call like 3 innings and have Tony go up back where Dave sits.
Oh, no.
That would be fantastic. And then have Jesse do it for like 3 innings. That would be a great broadcast for spring training. Like the perfect spring training broadcast.
Well, we'll see. I don't think Dave wants to do it.
No, that's the reason why he should.
Dave has to enunciate more. Plus, you might talk about Man U and the Cowboys too much. All right. Here's what I was talking about with the CJ Abrams situation. And we got to get to the sports thread, so I'll make this quick. I think if the Padres really wanted to acquire CJ Abrams, again, I'm throwing the ideas out there because there were some talks about it. I think in order to acquire CJ Abrams, you make the trade with Washington to get CJ Abrams. I think that means you have to trade Jake Cronenworth. And what happens is I think this season, because you would save some money because CJ's only he's got arbitration years, and this year he's making $4.25 million in arbitration. So it saves you money if you're able to trade Jake Cronenworth, which I think you have some value there. And then I think with the money you save, you go get an actual first baseman. And then you have an infield where you have Machado, Bogarts, Abrams, and then you get a more power hitting first baseman. You have Gavin Sheets as your DH. And that to me is I think that's a decent lineup for you, but you have to part ways with Jake Cronenworth to make it happen. And then after the conclusion of this year, because I'd only sign a guy to a 1-year deal or go find a first baseman at the trade deadline on a 1-year deal. I think after that, then you give a contract to CJ Abrams where you buy him out of arbitration years, give him a couple years after that, and then, have that part of your contract or have that part of your future with the Padres. Because then you have a young core of Abrams, Merrill, and Tatis. So that's what I would do. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. All right, we got what do we got? Rumors in the chat.
What do we have?
You got rumors in the chat.
Padres signed a pitcher, apparently. Is this what we're seeing? Bless you. John Heyman.
Marco Gonzalez is a Padre. Veteran lefty Marco Gonzalez is now signed by the Padres. Minors deal, MLB camp invite, $1.5 million if he makes the team, $1 million incentives.
Guys, we derailed the chat for Marco Gonzalez?
Yes.
Chat derailed the show.
Hey, Go Aztecs might be right. This year's Martin Perez, huh? Marco Gonzalez is 33 years old out of Fort Collins, Colorado. Left-handed pitcher, 66-50 in his career with a 4.16 ERA. He last pitched for the Pirates in 2024. He was 1-1 with a 4.54 ERA. Made 7 starts, went 33 and 2/3 innings, had a 92 ERA plus. I don't mind the depth piece, though.
No, I don't.
You want to bring in guys like him that are cheap on minor league deals that can compete for a rotation spot. That pushes guys like Tristan McKenzie. That pushes guys like JP Sears. That pushes guys like Matt Waldron. That pushes guys like Randy Vasquez. I like the depth.
Adam just sent us the tweet that we're looking at and discussing.
I was hoping you would announcing Zach Gallen. Well, you know what?
Yeah,
I know.
You
wanted a pitcher.
Yeah, guys,
there it is.
If we're going to derail the show for a Padre signing, can we derail the show for like a Zach Gallen or like a name and not a minor?
It's Padres news, dude. We got to get to it.
Oh, I understand that, but we can get to that without derailing the entire show to do it.
I don't mind. I don't mind the Marco Gonzalez move for the Padres because it gives him an incentive to make the team. He's only going to make the team if he's good. And if he makes the team, it only costs you $1.5 million. Maybe he's the Martin Perez of 2026 for the Padres.
And hopefully he is.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be great. All right, so that's kind of the CJ Abrams conversation. If you're just tuning in, Marco Gonzalez signs a minor league deal with the Padres. If he makes the team, he'll make $1.5 million. The Padres added another camp arm. Crafty lefties are pretty dangerous. So we'll see what Marco Gonzalez has. If it works out, great. If not, it's not going to cost you. It's not going to cost you anything. Minor league deal. I like moves like that. All right, we got to get to today's sports thread, Frank.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All right, Frank, what do we got going on in the sports world that's not San Diego related?
We've got a little bit less than anticipated for a Thursday.
Number
1. The Los Angeles Chargers have hired Chris O'Leary as their new defensive coordinator, bringing him back to Los Angeles after a strong 1-year stint in the same role at Western Michigan. O'Leary's Broncos defense, the Western Michigan Broncos, defense ranked among the nation's best in scoring and yards allowed, and he previously coached the Chargers safeties in 2024, helping players like Elijah Molden post-career best seasons. He now takes over a unit that has been elite the past 2 years under Jesse Minter, including a league-leading points allowed mark in 2024, with the task of maintaining that standard as the Chargers transition defensively. Given how dominant the Chargers defense has been recently, how much of that success is scheme-driven versus personnel-driven, and how much pressure does that put on O'Leary to make changes versus simply keeping the ship steady?
Well, I mean, it's not a bad. I mean, good hire for the Chargers. Pressure is going to be on in terms of trying to make a run in the postseason, obviously. But he's got a lot of great players to work with. I mean, that team's had pretty good defense last year, and just keeping it afloat and keeping it moving, I think, is going to be probably the main goal for this hire. I don't know how much he's probably going to put his own flair on it as well, but got to try to keep the train moving if you're the Chargers.
Absolutely.
Number 2.
The Patriots have listed quarterback Drake May.
Drake May. Love Drake May.
As a limited participant on their projected injury report, ahead of Super Bowl 60, citing a sore right knee that would have kept him from fully participating yesterday. May took a hard hit on a run in the AFC Championship game, but downplayed the issue, calling it more wear and tear from a long season of throwing than just a single play. Linebacker Robert Spillane, ankle and edge rusher Harold Landry also would not have practiced, while any missed reps for May are expected. What am I reading here? While any missed reps for May are expected to go to veteran backup Joshua Dobbs. Both May and Coach Mike Vrabel stress that bumps and bruises are normal at this stage, with May saying he feels good and will be ready for the Super Bowl. How much should even a minor shoulder issue for May affect the Patriots' offensive game plan against Seattle, especially given how much he has relied on his legs in the AFC title game?
I think this is all precautionary anyway,
Yes.
so I'm not looking that far into it. I think most of the practices this week are going to be low contact practices, trying to keep the guys healthy, mostly scheme, mostly mental reps this week. So I'm not overly concerned with it. All these guys are dinged up. Every single player is dinged up right now. I mean, Josh Allen showed up to the press conference for Joe Brady. He was on crutches and in a walking boot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of these guys have injuries that they're playing through. Give the guys some rest. It's not a huge factor. Nothing changes, in my opinion, for this report.
Oh, especially, I mean, when he's good enough to have made the Pro Bowl and is playing in it.
No, wait, hang on.
Wait a minute. Hold on. No, Shedeur Sanders is doing that instead.
Number 3.
For the first time since 2008, the ACC will hold its football championship game in the noon Saturday slot on championship weekend, aiming to boost viewership and attendance. The 2026 schedule also includes Week 0 international games in Dublin and Rio, a transition to a 9-game conference slate with some teams playing 8, and expanded Friday night matchups. Notable challenging schedules including North Carolina's tough opening stretch and Florida State's first 8 games. That's their schedule effectively. Against mostly 9-win teams. Louisville will play 11 games against Power 4 competition under the new slate. How might moving the ACC championship game to a noon slot and expanding the conference schedule impact television ratings, attendance, and also team performance?
Well, they moved the game up because the Big 12 left that spot and went to Friday night because they were, the morning slot on Saturday sucks. So they went to a Friday night in which they're competing with a bunch of Group of 5 deals. So good win for the Big 12. And you're the ACC, you're competing with the Big 10 championship. So they moved to their own spot. Now they just got to compete with the MAC championship, which I'm sure will win. So from that perspective, I understand why the conferences moved. Now there are no Power 4 conference championship games competing against each other. 9-game schedule. Everybody should be playing a 9-game schedule in college football. I'm glad that they're finally doing this. Noon hour when we come back. Somebody has said why they voted against Bill Belichick.
MVP contender San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on 97.3 The Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We are going to be here until Gwen and Chris coming up at 2 o'clock. And we're going to keep giving you updates on the Farmers Insurance Open. We'll do our next one in the next segment, if you will, as PGA Tour is back in San Diego. It's great having them here in San Diego. Beautiful, beautiful views of Torrey Pines today throughout the afternoon. ESPN had the coverage earlier this morning, and then I think it moves to CBS Sports or some other thing, but it might be the Golf Channel. It is the Golf Channel. So you can see the beautiful views of Torrey Pines out there, which is great. And we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But we do want to mention some news that happened with the Padres. They have signed Marco Gonzalez to a minor league deal. If he makes the team, it makes $1.5 million. I like this move for the Padres because it adds some depth to San Diego's rotation. If he does well, he'll be good enough to be part of the rotation, which is good for the Padres. It doesn't cost him a lot of money. If he doesn't do well, it doesn't cost you a lot of money. But you bring another arm, it creates more competition, and now you have Tristan McKenzie, you have Marco Gonzalez, you have Randy Vasquez, you have JP Sears, you have Matt Waldron, all competing for the final two spots in the rotation. And I still think you can add another pitcher here. And we'll talk more about this as it comes about, but I think a lot of it stems from the budget. I think a lot of it stems from whether or not Yu Darvish decides to void his contract. That obviously plays a role in this too, but I think the Padres have a lot of different opportunities out there for them to improve this roster, including reports about the CJ Abrams conversation. I mean, Sean Heyman said this sounds like an A.J. Preller move to potentially trade for a guy like CJ Abrams. I think there's ways that you could pull that off. I think there's ways you can improve your pitching. And I'm telling you right now, I don't think the Padres are in a position right now. Or sorry, here's what I'm going to say. I don't think the Padres right now are done with their roster. And I think there's a lot of teams that are not done with their roster. And I think a lot of these teams are going to be making moves here in the next couple of weeks or so, leading into pitchers and catchers reporting, which, do we have the timeline on that, Frank?
Pitchers and catchers report in...
But who's counting?
12 days, 1 hours, 6 minutes, 19, 18, 17, 16 seconds.
Thank you. Thank you for being spot on there. If you want to see that, that's on the 97 Through the Fan SD.com page for that. So looking forward to that. Let's get to some other news and notes for you out there for us, a little housekeeping that we're going to do. Let's go to the fact that we're going to be at FanFest on Saturday, which is great. Looking forward to that. We will be out there from 12 to 2. Bennett Woods will be out there from 10 to 12, and then before us. And then after, Gwen and Chris will be on from 2 to 4. We are scheduled to have Mason Miller join us in the first hour, and we are scheduled to have Joe Musgrove join us in the second hour. Two really good guests that we can't wait to talk to on Saturday. So if you haven't done so already, now we're going to be live on YouTube on that day. We're going to be on the radio on Saturday as well. It's going to be a fun time at FanFest. If you're going down, come by, say hi to us. We're, I think, in section 114, if I'm not mistaken, underneath the tower on the first base side. That's where we're going to be posted up. We're going to have, different Padres come through. I think Craig Stammen is scheduled to come on the morning show in the morning. I think in the afternoon with Gwen and Chris, it's Jake Cronenworth and Jake Peavy. Jason Adams is expected to join or is scheduled to join the morning show as well. So if you go out to FanFest, we're going to be out there all day long. It's going to be a fun time. We're looking forward to it and looking forward to Padres baseball coming up as we are closer and closer to pitchers and catchers reporting. So I'm looking forward to that. We're looking forward to some of that stuff coming up in the near future. Do you want to get to your phone calls today? 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Brandon in Carlsbad. It must be getting close to baseball season. Brandon's giving us a call. Brandon, what's going on, man?
Well, Frank, Braden, as you guys have said last season, and we're getting fired up, seeing everything starting to bubble up on the radar. Let's have a day today, guys. Look at this Thursday. We're San Diegans. It's freaking 80 out. I'm checking the surf. It looks beautiful, and at the end of this whole rant that I'm going to go on real quick is, man, the Friar Faithful, at least we don't have to live with those rich kids up north and that fentanyl zombie apocalypse that they call home, right? They can have that team and have all the money, but there's going to be a shift change, and we're going to stay faithful and hunkered down, Padre fans, because that's who we are. We're the Friar Faithful. We live in America's finest city and America's finest county. Let's roll. I think we still got plenty of cards to play. But that's baseball, too, at the end of the day. But let's have...
Signal keeps dropping out. Brandon Carlsbad's getting excited for the Padres season. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Trying to get the exact section down over there. I know where it is in terms of like first base side, so it's actually an odd number. I want to say I kept thinking 114, but I think it's the exact. I think it might be 111, 113 area. But I'll get the official spot. We're going to be first base side on the concourse over there, right underneath. It's usually underneath the tower. So we'll tell you exactly in just a little bit once I get that going. We had some. In the noon hour, we were going to talk about some NFL football here with the situation that is the Bill Belichick situation and why or why not some people voted him into the Hall of Fame. We finally got some clarity on that from a particular person that is a columnist for the Kansas City Star. Va Gregorian? Is that how you say his name?
Sure.
Vahe. He's a columnist for the Kansas City Star. He wrote that his decision not to cast a vote for the 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach had nothing to do with Spygate, Deflategate, or any other controversy. He instead gave his maximum allotment of votes to decades-old players who, quote, have been long deserving for induction. He gave it to running back Roger Craig, linebacker L.C. Greenwood, and quarterback Ken Anderson. He thereby had to snub Belichick and the New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft. Belichick had to receive at least 40 votes, 80% to be voted into the Hall. Voters had 2 groups to evaluate, 15 modern era players and 5 in a seniors category, which included Belichick, Kraft, Craig, Greenwood, and Anderson. Voters could choose up to 5 modern era players and 1 to 3 senior candidates. Gregorian wrote that there is an overwhelming backlog of players who have not been enshrined, including approximately 60 one-time all-decade players, the vast majority of whom might never come up in the annual 5-person seniors category. He mentioned 3 Kansas City Chief legends whom he repeatedly advocated for: cornerback Albert Lewis, wide receiver Otis Taylor, and offensive lineman Jim Trier, who are not yet in the Hall. Lewis and Trier previously appeared as senior candidates, but did not get enough votes. Gregorian wrote, each of those men, in my opinion, unequivocally belong in Canton among dozens of at least similarly decorated players who have been regulated to the Pro Football Hall of Fame voters have come to call the abyss of senior candidates. So one of the justifications, or should I say responses from one of the voters that did not vote for Bill Belichick, is the sense that I only had 3 spots and I got to vote for guys that have been on there longer than others. Is this enough of an excuse to say that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
No. There are some guys that, yeah, it stinks that there are guys that deserve to be in, that have to be on the ballot for a lot longer than they should be. Bill Belichick is not one of those guys. 333 wins, 8 Super Bowls. I mean, come on. He was there, 11, 12 times? He went to the Super Bowl. If he is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, who is? I sympathize with those who have been on there, who have been on the ballot for a lot longer than they should have been. There are some guys, though, that take priority. Are you going to vote for, just to use a name, are you going to vote for Keith Hernandez over Ken Griffey Jr. because Hernandez has been on the ballot for 20 years? No, Griffey got in first ballot. I mean, come on. There are guys that it's obvious. There are guys where it's obvious.
My thing with this Bill Belichick, now, if the process is terrible, right, and they can only get a certain amount of votes, then you got to fix the process. But to me, what this tells me, Frank, is you shouldn't the whole first ballot Hall of Fame thing needs to be thrown out the window of being an extra accomplishment.
Yeah. Because
there's nobody better than Bill Belichick in terms of coaching that deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, to anybody there's going to be people that are just anti-Bill Belichick, like, well, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer because he wasn't that great. It's like, stop it. But how the vote works, Belichick was placed in the senior candidate category. Voters could select up to 5 modern era candidates, as I mentioned before, 1 to 3 senior candidates. Belichick needed 80% of the vote. The writer in Kansas City used all his senior votes on Roger Craig, L.C. Greenwood, Ken Anderson, as mentioned before. That meant Belichick and Robert Kraft were left off. Why is he part of the senior candidates, by the way?
I guess because he wasn't a player, so he can't be in the normal thing. That I don't know.
I mean, at this point, they got to start breaking this thing up into players, coaches, owners, and executives, and have 3 different votes for this. Because there shouldn't be a situation in which a guy who is now up for a Hall of Fame spot for the first time is competing with guys that are now part of the senior candidates that are all players. I don't understand how that's part of the deal.
I don't understand. This actually prompted, I don't know if you saw this last night, but this actually prompted a statement from the Pro Football Hall of Fame and virtually a threat from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Did you see this last night?
No. Oh, I did see it. I didn't read it.
So this is the statement from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The Pro Football Hall of Fame understands and respects the passionate reaction of many fans, media members, and enshrinees of the Hall itself in light of published reports regarding the voting results of the class of 2026. It's that very passion that propels the game. The Hall also respects the members of the selection committee when they follow the selection process bylaws. It's an honor to serve as a selector. Each year, the Hall reviews the selection process and the composition of the 50-person selection committee. If it is determined that any member or members violated the selection process bylaws, they understand that action will be taken. That could include the possibility that such selector or selectors would not remain a member of the committee moving forward. The selection of a new class is the most important duty of the Hall of Fame oversees each year, and the integrity of that process cannot be in question. Well, it's in question.
Yeah, now it's in question for sure. Gregorian's stance boils down to this. Belichick will get in eventually. Many seniors will never get another chance. I think that's kind of an excuse.
Yeah, that is 100% an excuse.
He emphasized that roughly 60 former all-decade players remain outside the Hall of Fame. The seniors' pipeline is crowded and unforgiving. Some finalists don't even reappear the following year. Missing your window can mean permanent exile. In his words, voting for Belichick now felt like wasting a vote when others were facing their last realistic shot at Canton.
There are guys that should be in the Hall of Fame that never make it. Guys that shouldn't be in that make it. Bill Belichick, again, I'm sorry, if you're on the ballot for 15 to 20 years, you're probably not going to get in. And it's not up to you to be the good citizen to vote these guys in and give them a chance. I'm sorry, it's not. Not at the expense of someone who's as obvious as Bill Belichick.
I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, it's like you can't just like go, well, he's going to get in eventually. Because here's the deal. I see this too when it comes to the CIF, all CIF voting, because I've sat in those meetings before, and that's like crazy in its own right. But there's a lot of times where they try to get greedy with their votes. And I think this is getting greedy with your vote. Like there's a couple of times where there is one player that is by far the best player in the county, but they don't get voted on because they're an underclassman. And so it's like, well, they'll have their chance the following year. But that's not a guarantee, though.
Exactly. What if they don't?
What happens to me, like this is the one that happens the most. Like, or this is what happens before. This is an example. Like Tyler, I think it was Tyler Buckner. Tyler Buckner was one of the best players in the county his junior year here in San Diego. He was at Bishop's. He was one of the better players in the county, and he came up to a potential vote to be the county player of the year in football. And a lot of the argument was, well, he's still going to be the best player next year. Let's vote him when he's a senior. Let's get this kid the opportunity to be the player of the year.
What if he breaks his ankle first?
But that's not even let's not even get to that point, because then you can play the what if game. What happened was after that, COVID happened and it wiped out the season, right? In the fall. And then they scheduled to play in the spring. But you know what Tyler Buckner did? Not only did he transfer to Helix for that fall season that never happened, but since it was his senior year or whatever, and he was a highly recruited individual to go to Notre Dame, he didn't stick around for the spring season. He enrolled early at Notre Dame. So then he never became the player of the year in San Diego because they were trying to do a nice thing. And I get it. Like you want to do you want to try to reward as many people as possible, but sometimes in doing so, you end up making a bad decision. I've seen that too with different entities in town that have their own awards that go like, oh, well, I know this guy is the best player in the county, but, this player's got a higher ceiling. And so this player, we think he's got a better chance to get in the NFL. So we're going to give him this award just in case, so we could talk about how we found him first before he goes to the NFL. And then that player doesn't do anything in college. And it's just this giant risk that they took to try to make themselves look better in 10 to 15 years. Stop voting with biases or trying to do something in which you're trying to be the nice guy. Like Gregorian, I understand where you're coming from. You're trying to get the votes in for some of these Kansas City Chiefs. And I think some people were like, you know what? Like if you're this writer in Kansas City and you're the only guy that doesn't vote for Belichick because you're trying to get Chiefs into the Hall of Fame as the Kansas City writer, you're like, well, he's probably going to get it anyway. And then you're the only guy and you go like, hey, look, I try to get these guys. It worked. To me, that justification works.
Yeah,
if Bill Belichick still get in.
Exactly.
But if you had a bunch of people do this, you had 11 guys potentially do this. Now all of a sudden it's like, well, how come he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer now? And it's because of situations like this. Like he was trying to do the right thing, but in trying to do the right thing, he ends up costing a guy that's worthy of a first ballot Hall of Fame spot into not being a first ballot Hall of Famer.
If you substitute Gregorian's reasoning, if you take Bill Belichick out of that and you put Eli Manning in, no one cares. This isn't a big thing. There's only two guys. I believe there's only one or two guys, quarterbacks that have won 2 Super Bowls that haven't made the Hall of Fame. Eli Manning, for my money, shouldn't make it. I didn't think he was that good. I saw him throw into quadruple coverage and come out confused as to how the ball got picked off. I mean, I could only imagine why. But if he said that about Eli Manning missing, which he did, he's not in the Hall of Fame this year. It's understandable. It's fine. I get it. He's a borderline guy who, if he didn't have the Super Bowls, wouldn't really even be in the conversation. But it's Bill Belichick. It's obvious. It's like doing this with Tom Brady, or doing it with Peyton Manning, or doing it with Barry Sanders. This is not a fringe tweener guy. This is a guy who's a dead lock. And you're using that excuse to get hometown guys in. That's where his argument falls apart.
My thing with this was, and we got to take a break. We get to these phone calls too when we come back. Ron, Dexter, please stay on hold. We got to get to break. You know what? You had Roger Craig, L.C. Greenwood, Ken Anderson. You knew Bill Belichick should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You got to pick between those 3 and pick the best 2.
Yeah.
And that's the process working, not trying to make something happen and be like, he tried to get cute with his votes. And I don't believe that. And the justification's not enough for me to be like, oh, well, Bill Belichick doesn't deserve to get in because, now he's got to wait his turn, because we're trying to get other people in that might never get a chance again. I get where he's coming from, but for me, that's not your job as a Hall of Fame voter. When we come back, we get your phone calls on this, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Ron, Dexter, please stay on hold. We will get you when we come back and take a look at the early free agent period for the NFL. Some teams that might have an opportunity to make some headway with some of these free agents on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing German Sports Station 97 to the Fan. I think all this process is. San Diego High School sports, we're officially in that sweet spot right now of the winter season. League races are tightening up, playoff positioning starting to matter, and stars are showing up across every sport, from basketball and soccer to wrestling and water polo. This week reminded us just how deep and competitive the San Diego section really is. Let's give a shout out real quick to all of the San Diego Union Tribune weekly athletes of the week. This week's athletes of the week cover the full spectrum. Eileen Shin of Bishop's Water Polo. She was a flat-out dominant this week. 8 goals on 9 shots to push Bishops to the top of the Western League. That's efficiency and leadership in a rivalry game. Olivia Deanda, Cathedral Catholic girls soccer player, continues to be a difference maker. She scored in 3 straight wins and now sitting at 10 goals on the season as the Dons surge. Powerful Land, Hoover Wrestling needed just 34 seconds to pin his way to a tournament title at 217 pounds. That's an intimidation right there.
That is a wrestling name is what that is. Powerful Land.
That's right. Gianna Woodson of San Diego High School, girls basketball player, led a key Eastern League win with 24 points. She's a sophomore, but already playing like a closer to a senior. Jalen Williams, San Marcos boys basketball, delivered in the clutch, 20 points in overtime win, then 24 more in a follow-up. That's a senior leading a playoff bound team, and Jalen Williams for San Marcos and the Knights. Jaden Ruiz, Granite Hills wrestler, helped knock off a top 10 team in the state. Granite Hills is for real in the wrestling department. And Jennifer Stanyon, Santa Fe Christian girls basketball, stuffed the stat sheet, 39 points, 46 boards, 12 assists in 3 games that is dominance. A lot of star power throughout high school sports. But let's take a look at the basketball rankings. Frank, take us through the basketball rankings check-in.
So right now, as we sit for boys basketball, Santa Fe Christian remains the standard at number 1. But the real story is the depth. San Marcos is jumping up. Mission Bay dealing with forfeits. Teams like Olympian, Mira Mesa, and Torrey Pines are sitting there lurking. Right now, there's no safe game in the top 10 in boys basketball right now. For the girls' side, Francis Parker still leads, but Mater Dei Catholic is at 17-1 and is knocking very, very loudly on the door to try to get to the number 1 spot over Francis Parker. Mission Hills and La Jolla County Day stay consistent, while Cathedral Catholic remains dangerous. This sure is shaping up to be one of the more unpredictable basketball playoff brackets that we've seen in quite some time.
The game we had of the week this week, Tuesday afternoon, non-league, should have been sleepy, but instead it was playoff level intensity as written by John Maffey in the Santa Fe Union Tribune. But it's Canyon Hills and Kearney in boys basketball. Canyon Hills survived 60-51 after almost blowing a 12-point lead late. Slade Stevens, 21 points, 9 boards, forced 26 forced turnovers by Canyon Hills. Kearney shows they can play up a division. Both coaches said it best. These are the type of games that prepare you for that March run in high school basketball. As for soccer, Frank, Torrey Pines starting to roll.
Yeah, Torrey Pines is doing really, really well. Boys soccer is quietly becoming a very, very big problem. They are 12-3-1 right now. They had a 5-1 win over Oceanside. Mafong, Week, Leidendorf, I apologize if I messed up any of those names, controlling the matchup. This team looks very, very organized, very, very confident, and built for a deep run into the CIF playoff as we go to the other football, Braden.
Yeah, we have some news in the coaching hires now. A lot of teams are still looking for head coaches in high school football. A lot of big jobs are still available. We know the Mission Hills job is still available. There was a report on who might have applied for the Mission Hills job. A lot of big-time names throughout the North County that have been listed. I don't know how much of those have been vetted in terms of actually being interviewed for the Mission Hills job, but that's one that we will definitely update you on when it comes about. Staying up in the North County, though, Escondido is in a new era. Escondido football turns the page. Ian Kelly now takes over as the head football coach for Escondido. He's just 31 years old. Emphasis on physical football, the run game and line play. And after years of turnover, the question will be stability with Escondido football. With them finding a job, apparently out in the desert, Brawley is now looking for a head coach. The Brawley head coach has stepped down, so another opening spot in the carousel. I do want to mention, Wednesday night, big night in girls soccer, San Marcos hosting Mount Carmel and Tony Gwynn Jr.'s daughter tonight. So on Wednesday night. So that should be a good matchup to look forward to this week as broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We do want to get you some of your phone calls as well as we head out to that David P. Shapiro fan hotline. Start out in La Mesa. Ron in La Mesa wants to weigh in. What's going on, Ron?
Hey, guys. Hey, a little serious thing here. Talking about the high school CIF stuff and players of the year. It's been going on for years like that. My son was pitching at Mount Miguel back in after the COVID year, and led all of California in strikeouts his senior year. But because he went to a D4, D5, he didn't get chosen to be in the All-Star game and stuff. And when I talked to him, they go, well, it's because he was in D5. And I said, well, why not have a D1, D2 All-Star than a 3, 4, 5 if you're going to hinder the kids that are in below 2 not being able to get into All-Star games and stuff. And then he got screwed too because COVID took him out. Nevada wanted him. Now he's pitching in a little place out in Kansas City. But he's still pitching stuff, but the CIF has been doing this for years.
Yeah, a lot of those meetings, I've been part of those meetings, Ron. I appreciate the phone call. I mean, there's a lot of guys that fight for, some of the smaller schools and some of those things. And all CIF's different than the All-Star games. I don't know how they pick the All-Star games that are played. But there's a lot of stuff like that. Like all league is based on where you finish. If you win the league, you get the most representation. You get slots. That's how all league works. So, if you come in first place, the chances of your players making all league are a lot higher than ones that are not. And the other thing too is you got to show up. There's a lot of coaches that don't show up to the all league meetings. You wonder why your kid doesn't make the all league team. It's like tell your coach to show up. That happens all the time too. Got tons of stories about high school sports like that. Crazy. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Dexter in Spring Valley. You're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Dex?
Hey, how's it going, fellas? Let's do this, okay? A tale of three Padres. And that's what, work with me on this because this is where we're going to go. Hall of Fame, part one. Tony Gwynn, first ballot Hall of Famer for sure, right?
Right.
Trevor Hoffman was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's in the Hall of Fame. So, I mean, and neither of them looked at it from first or second or whatever. They were just we're in the, they were honored and crazy happy to be in the Hall of Fame. So, all these people kind of, getting all a little worked up over that is look, if Belichick never gets into the Hall of Fame, that's one thing. But he didn't get in on the first ballot. Okay. Even Belichick didn't scream and shout. He was like, oh, well, what's it going to take? I only won 6 Super Bowls. You know what I mean? So it's I don't really think that, at least outwardly, it mattered to him. I think what matters to him is just getting in. So, we look at it like Trevor Hoffman. He got in. Didn't matter if he got in on the first ballot like Tony Gwynn. He's in. So, you know what I mean? Even though Trevor should have been in first ballot. We all know that. But that's neither here nor there. Third Padre, and this is where it relates. Merrill. This was a guy who was absolutely, completely, totally, and utterly robbed. Okay, not Belichick for his Hall of Fame thing, but Merrill, because he should have been Rookie of the Year. Not the pitcher from Pittsburgh, because Merrill was playing every day. He was racking up the stats. He was the guy that got helped the Padres during his rookie year, for getting us into the playoffs and doing as well as we did. I mean, Merrill was robbed outright. I mean, we're talking about taken out back, had his lunch money stolen, his shoes, his Air Jordans, everything. You know what I mean? So as far as I'm concerned, that's the only thing, something like that is what we should be crying about. All right. And then finally, I like the little swipe you made towards Paul Rudy with regard to the high school awards. So I'll just leave it at that. Mic drop.
Appreciate the phone call, Dexter. Yeah, a lot of the high school awards out there are kind of a lot of them are sometimes a sham with some of the ways that they determine some of these deals. But I get it. I mean, your awards, you can do with it whatever you want with awards. When people brag about first ballot Hall of Famers, though, and the fact that Bill Belichick is not, there's a cause. I mean, he's going to get in the Hall of Fame eventually. But if people make a big deal about the first ballot thing, then you have to make an argument that Bill Belichick deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Right? Yeah. Brandon in Oceanside. You're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Brandon? Brandon, are you there? No, he ain't. Tim in La Mesa. You're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Tim? He gone. Maybe they want to play the midday sports standoff. Need a contestant for that. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. I get where Dexter's coming from, Frank. Eventually he's going to get in, so why does it really matter? But if you're going to view people as being better in the Hall of Fame than others because they're on the first ballot, then you have to be upset about this.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I mean, Belichick is a first ballot Hall of Famer, period. Stop. Second most wins in the NFL, 333, 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, 8 overall. He went, 11, 12 times? And that's, what else do you need?
I I agree. I just think if that's going to be this is why I don't like getting into these arguments with the Hall of Fame. Because then you start nitpicking at stuff, and then certain stats matter over other certain stats, and it's just like, well, these are the ones that matter now because these are the ones that make this guy better. And this is why I don't engage in these conversations. But we had to this week because I thought it was a sham that he didn't make a first ballot Hall of Fame. And you know what? I think it proves the point of why a lot of this voting process needs to stop, why it needs to be rethought of, and why this process needs to be completely changed, and why I don't like talking about it. Because these Hall of Fames are just, there's just so much political. It's just politics, like with a lot of these deals and politicking and brown nosing and all that stuff. And that's why I don't get involved with Hall of Fames or award votes. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, we do need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff. We want to get you qualified for a chance to take get to Vegas, win our grand prize. 2 tickets to Sammy Hagar at Dolby Live at Park MGM, a 2-night stay at Park MGM Las Vegas, and a $100 gas card. Sammy Hagar returns to Las Vegas with his Best of All Worlds Las Vegas residency. Get ready to rock with your favorite hits from the Van Halen years, Sammy solo hits, and more. Only in Las Vegas this March 11th to the 21st and September 18th to the 26th. Dolby Live at Park MGM. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. We're going to do that when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, Steady Urban Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. Since NASCAR is coming to San Diego in 2026 over Father's Day weekend, and it's going to be playing going to be racing at Coronado, and it's going to be the outdoor race. It's going to be fun. The street race here in San Diego is the NASCAR in San Diego has found a deal. It's going to come here for the next couple of years. It sounds like should be a fun event. We're looking forward to it, but we want to keep you updated on what's going on in NASCAR before we lead into what is going to be a massive event here in San Diego. So we're going to do these motorsports updates. Again, we only have so much time. Our real estate's very precious, but we want to add more content to our show. That's why we're doing these extra segments in the commercial breaks, the weekly hits, if you will. All of our stuff's going to be on YouTube as well. You can go to the YouTube page at @B_SURP, where you can find that, become a member, all that fun stuff. We will let you know about that throughout the show. But we got NASCAR coming. Big event always coming up in the next couple of weeks, which is the Daytona 500, which I know everybody's excited for. It's the Sunday after the Super Bowl, so we're looking forward to seeing that. That's always a fun race. But there's a lot of things coming up in NASCAR in the next couple of weeks or so, and Frank Marchese has our motorsports update this week focusing on NASCAR.
Yep. So right now we've got the Clash coming up this weekend, the Cookout Clash that'll be held at Bowman Gray Stadium. Now, we'll take a short view back to the past here. Way back in 1937, the city of Winston-Salem decided to build a multi-purpose venue called Bowman Gray Stadium to house the local university's football team, Winston-Salem State Rams, and auto racing. The city built a football field and a racetrack in the same place, substituting the running track around the football field with a dirt quarter-mile oval to hold local weekly racing and NASCAR. NASCAR actually ran at Bowman Gray Stadium. The Cup Series did from 1958 all the way up until 1971. And then after that, it fell off the schedule, and it was left mainly to weekly racing series and later on the K&N Pro Series, or the ARCA Menard Series, as it's known now. The Bowman Gray Stadium has earned the nickname over the years, the Madhouse, because it is a very small, very tight, very narrow racetrack with real estate being so precious and it becoming a race that's so unique that so many people want to win. A lot of NASCAR's Cup Series regulars that you see on the circuit right now, such as Kyle Larson, William Byron, Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, and Ryan Preece, have all cut their teeth at the Madhouse at Bowman Gray Stadium. Now, the history of the Clash, it's been mostly at Daytona. The last couple of years, it had been at the LA Coliseum. And now, after NASCAR purchased the racing rights around Bowman Gray Stadium in late 2024, it then moved to Bowman Gray Stadium with Chase Elliott winning the race last year. This is a non-points event. It is an exhibition race that will be, it's expected to be held at least this weekend. There's going to be freezing temperatures. There's a potential of snow. Goodyear is actually sending all-weather tires to the teams, so it's just fueling the fantasy of a snow race at Bowman Gray Stadium. Guys to watch out for this weekend: Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano always seem to be really, really good in these exhibition races. The races begin on Saturday with modified and sportsman practice, qualifying, and then the races. You can watch those races on Flow Racing. Then NASCAR takes over. 3:10 p.m. Pacific time on FS1 will be the NASCAR qualifying, followed by the heats later on in the day. That's scheduled to start around 5:30. And then on Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific time on Fox, it will be the last chance qualifier and then the big race at 5 p.m. Pacific time. This weekend possibly could be pushed back to the middle of the week.
That's the update for NASCAR and our motorsports update. Frank's going to have a lot of those updates throughout the year. Again, we're going to do these weekly updates. We're doing it for a lot of sports right now. Try to keep it as entertaining as possible for you watching in a commercial or watching on YouTube. So we appreciate you guys staying tuned to that. We will be back with another motorsports update next week on the Braden Surprenant Show. You can catch our show every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. $12:40 on a Thursday. It's restaurant week this week. Got any restaurant week plans?
No. I did not have any restaurant week plans.
Aha. I've made some for tonight. Yeah, check it out. Restaurant week's kind of cool. It's also very difficult to do when you've meal prepped everything for the week.
Yeah, I can see that being a problem.
Trying to eat better in the month of January and February and just in general. But yeah, me and my friend tonight, we're going to go out to a place. She does not know where we're going, but she went through the restaurant week, and there's a ton of restaurants participating. And she clicked on all the menus that she liked, and then I picked one. And so now we're going tonight for dinner. I'll let you know how it is. It looked pretty good. I'm looking forward to the menu tonight.
Fantastic.
And seeing it. So a little Thursday outing, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
And then tomorrow I have the USD first pitch dinner.
Yes.
Which is always fun. Start to the season for USD baseball. The following Friday, they're doing a press conference for the beginning of the season. So maybe we'll go attend that next Friday afternoon.
Season's starting up soon. Isn't it?
Valentine's Day weekend is the first weekend of college baseball.
There you go.
So that would be the following week.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, they're out in like 2 weeks here, and they're going to be playing. USD opens up the season with Charlotte. We'll get you some of those updates that we're doing during the YouTube breaks that we will also be putting on our YouTube page are going to have baseball in the springtime, which is going to be fun. So we're looking forward to that. If you want to join the show today, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I do want to mention that you can follow us now on a lot of different platforms at B_SURP show, at the Braden Surprenant show, at B_SURP. You can follow me on all social media platforms. You can follow Frank at FMarks 324 on all social media platforms. Follow the station at 97 to the Fan SD. And we have now launched the memberships for the YouTube page, which is great. We're looking forward to that. Trying to do what the morning show has done. We're putting a lot more videos out on our YouTube page at B_SURP. So you can go check that out on YouTube. There's a lot of you in there already that have done that. And hopefully you've liked some of the videos that we have posted. But on the YouTube page, it's great. We don't really go to commercial now on YouTube. It just kind of goes to some other content that we have already had.
You get a little bit of
great.
You get a little bit of a break from us at the top of the hour, but for the rest of it, we're on pretty much.
We got high school sports. We got the goals. We got all 3 Division I universities in town that we're talking about as well. Just a lot to break down, and we'll have more of that for you throughout the year. We'll try to produce more content for you on YouTube as well in the baseball season. We're really looking forward to, really expanding our product and our brand. We'll get you some updates on the Farmers Insurance Open in just a little bit. The 1 o'clock hour, we will spend a lot of time on the Farmers Insurance Open, as well as the Padres made a move today, a minor league move. They have signed Marco Gonzalez to a minor league deal. I like the move. We talked about it earlier in the show when it happened. If Marco Gonzalez makes the team, $1.5 million in his pocket, and the Padres have an extra rotation piece. If he doesn't, well, then it's worth taking a chance to help solidify your rotation and bring more competition in. I'm all in favor of that. All right, it's time to get to our midday sports standoff. If our contestant could take me down in some sports trivia, he or she will be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize. 2 tickets to Sammy Hagar at Dolby Live at Park MGM, a 2-night stay at Park MGM Las Vegas, and a $100 gas card. Sammy Hagar returns to Las Vegas with his best of all worlds Las Vegas residency. Get ready to rock with your favorite hits from the Van Halen years, Sammy's solo hits, and more in Las Vegas this March 11th to the 21st and September 18th to the 26th. Dolby Live, Park MGM. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Without further ado, let's get to today's Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have Brandon in Oceanside playing today.
I think you said Ocean Beach.
Ocean Beach. Brandon, how are you doing today? In whichever
Hey,
ocean
I'm
you're
good,
in.
guys. How are you guys doing?
Whatever ocean you were in.
All right. So today's topic, we've had some discussion both yesterday and today about a Padre possibly returning. He was traded away for a big name, a major name, future Hall of Famer. We now ask you, who were the 7, there were 8, but 7 players who were involved in the Juan Soto trade? Got it, Brandon?
Okay, yeah, got it.
All right, you have the first guess.
Let's go CJ Abrams.
Correct. CJ Abrams was one of the Padres that went to Washington.
There's 7 players in this.
Well, there were 8, but there's an 8th guy who, if you get him, you'll get credit for it. But I would not expect you or the caller to get him.
I'll put James Wood in that.
You have James Wood. Yes, correct. Brandon.
So I think I'm kind of stumbling his first name, but hopefully it counts. Hassel III.
Robert Hassel III, yes, was a part of the trade.
Mac G, Mackenzie Gore.
Mackenzie Gore was a part of the trade. Brandon.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Let's see.
It's kind of an obvious one sitting there.
Okay, we got Wood, McKenzie Gore, Hassel.
Again,
Overall, like going to the Padres.
yeah,
Okay,
the
so
whole
Soto.
trade.
Soto.
There you go. I was getting worried there. Who were the 7 players involved in the Juan Soto trade?
Oh my God. All right, how many players do we have to off the list?
We have 2. We have 2 left. There's a possible third if you can get his name. I'm not going to knock you if you guys can't get his name.
Josh Bell got sent this way.
Correct. Josh Bell. Brandon, if you get this one, it's over.
Chesmoss. We got Luke Boyd.
Yes. Brandon, congratulations. You have qualified.
We're missing one.
I know we're missing one. Would you?
Harleen Susana.
There it is. Did you look that one up?
No.
Okay. Yes. So it doesn't matter. He still gets in because it's a tie. Brandon, hang on the line. I'll get
Why
your
would that one
information
not
soon.
count?
Because I had never heard of this guy, and he hasn't played a game
He's a top
over
100
AA.
prospect.
He's never played a game over AA.
I thought you were talking about like Eric Hosmer as like the extra 8th player.
No. Well, again, still, it doesn't matter. He still wins anyway. It was a tie even since you got it. So.
That's the guy you left off. I thought it was like, oh, well, Eric Hosmer turned it down.
No, yeah,
and so
Hosmer did turn it down. No, I wasn't.
and-
Look, I'm a jerk, but I'm not going
you
to do
said
that
7
to you
or
guys.
8.
Well, no, there were.
Harleen Susana is part of the 7.
There's a part of the 8, but we accepted 7. Again, he wins either way because he got the
Why
majority.
is there
of the
always a
7.
question? Why is there always a
Would you rather
stipulation
okay,
with your question?
Would you rather me? Would you rather me have done the Hosmer thing or just left Susana out?
It's a great growing bit. It's just Susana was part of the trade. Is his name Harleen? Is that how you say his name?
You got it. Congratulations. He still ties you.
I'm just
so
saying.
He still gets qualified.
I don't know why that was
Nothing
like
changes.
I don't know why that was like an extra. Like I can't like this guy's not. You made it sound like somebody that kind of got traded, but not really. He was part of the trade. He's part of the group. Just because you've never heard of him doesn't make him not part of the trade. There were players involved. Can you name the players that we know, as opposed to the players that I don't know who they are?
I tried.
Here's Frank's spin on the question. Can you name the players that I remember from the Juan Soto trade to the Padres? Can you remember? Can you name those players?
I didn't remember Luke Voigt going there, to be fair. Then after I saw the name, I'm like, oh, yeah, he was a part of that trade.
That's somebody you would know.
But if we were doing that based off of memory, he wouldn't have been on there.
You know what? It's still not at the Scrapey level, though. At least that's right. He's part of the trade. I don't know what you made it sound like. He was some special guy that didn't get traded, or it was kind of a question mark of whether he got traded. So I'm thinking like, all right, well, Eric Hosmer said no.
Brother, he still would have qualified. We're trying to get people qualified.
That's not why
here,
I'm complaining.
man.
I'm complaining about like your question being ridiculous. I don't care about him winning. I'm glad he won. Because if a tie wins, I'm not complaining about that. What I'm saying is, how is that not part of the just overall question? Why did Susana get hosed in this deal of like, he's not that important?
Because I thought that was like an expert level one that would expert level addition to the trade that I thought neither one of you were going to get. So I said, let me leave that one out. But if you get it, great.
It should have been name the 7 players involved in the Juan Soto trade, not name Juan Soto, because you listed Juan Soto.
He was a part of the Juan Soto trade, was he not?
I know, but that wouldn't make the fact that Juan Soto got more of an answer than Harleen Susana. You know what? I hope Susana turns out to be a great player.
I hope he does too. Nothing bad. Nothing against the kid.
And you know what? And I hope it ends up either with the Nationals or the Braves, and he just destroys the Mets.
No, if he does
every time.
No, it would be with the Nationals if that were to happen. It would be with the Nationals. It would be with a god-awful. It would be with a Nationals team bordering the White Sox of 2024.
Yeah, guy's not that little guy, 6'6".
I didn't say little guy.
You're treating him like a little guy because he's only been in AA. Hey man, he's a top prospect, dude. Give him some respect. I hope he gets called up this year. We got to go interview him if he gets called up. I wouldn't
be surprised if he does.
Top 100 prospect.
He'll be the September call-up that wrecks the Mets in the last week of the season.
I hope that's the case.
It will be the case.
Top 100 prospect, Arlene Susana. 80th best prospect in baseball. Guy's a nobody.
I meant no disrespect by it.
Guy's a nobody. Not good enough to be an answer to your question. What do you got against Arlene Susana, man?
Apparently a lot more
you
now.
got a lot against them.
Oh, apparently a lot, don't I?
Just name the somebodies in this trade, not the nobodies like Arlene Susana. That's bad, dude. Foul. That's a foul.
I was
Sometimes you draw a foul, and it was unintentional. This was not trying to get a foul to shoot free throws in the final 2 minutes.
All fouls are unintentional. All fouls are unintentional.
Not under 2 minutes in the game. The shade to Susana, man. You're better than that. You're better than that. You feel good about yourself now?
I do.
Calling this guy a nobody.
I never feel good about myself. Because the second I do feel good about myself, something happens that makes me not feel good about myself. Kind of like the parking space I got here yesterday.
That was great. What happened with that? What was wrong with that?
An hour and a half ride home in traffic.
Oh, well.
Instead of my normal 25 to 30 minutes, we added an hour to it. The second I saw that parking spot here, I got the Princess parking spot here yesterday, the one right up front, the one that I don't have to knock a ding into someone's door to be able to get out of my car. And I thought, the second I saw that, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. What's going to go wrong today?
No. You know what? It's a mindset thing, Frank. I think it's a mindset thing. I think you got to change your mind a little bit. I think you need to be more positive because I think it changes the outlook on a lot of stuff.
I've been very positive today.
All right, so you shouldn't have anything bad coming your way.
No, and I'm parked in a bad spot. So, yeah, I'm going to fly home tonight.
No love for Susana.
No, sorry.
Guy only throws 100 miles an hour. Guy's a nobody. Top 100 prospect in Major League Baseball. Nobody. Just throw in. It's a bag of balls going to Washington. Get you an update on the Farmers Insurance Open when we come back. There's a look at some of them. We're going to have Frank kind of walk around as I kind of go through what some of these promotional items are. But the Padres today announced their 2026 promotional schedule, including giveaways, theme games, and events. Every homestand, you can get single game tickets for the 2026 regular season home games on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd. So you got to still wait until next Tuesday at 10 in the morning Pacific time by visiting www.padres.com. Season ticket members have priority access to tickets and enjoy the best available seats. Season ticket memberships have sold out for the fourth consecutive season due to franchise record demand, and therefore all remaining tickets for the 2026 season are available on a single game basis. So these will be, you can buy tickets starting on February 3rd. There are 15 all-fan giveaways planned for the 2026, highlighted by fan favorites such as high-quality wearables, stylish hats, and bobbleheads, all of which take place during select home games throughout the season, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. There are 3 different styles of hats this year, and there's a bunch of other stuff. We're going to get to that, but we'll just kind of go through the beginning of the season to the end. And see if you can follow along here, Frank, with what we got. But the first giveaway will be on Friday, March 27th. That's the day after opening day. That's the Tony Gwynn opening day. There's going to be an opening series scarf presented by Sequan Casino Resort. Start the season in style with a Cozy Padres opening series scarf, which looks nice. It's great. Nice little scarf. At the beginning games, the early games at Petco Park are usually kind of chilly. But that's a good-looking scarf right there. So that will be against the Tigers on Friday, March 27th. On Monday, March 30th, this one's super cool. On Monday, March 30th, they have I'm a sucker for 1998 stuff. They have a 1998 belt bag, which is perfect for it's a bag that you could bring into the ballpark, which is awesome. I know my mom's got a bag like that. My girlfriend's got a bag like that. There's a lot of different my sister's got a bag like that, and a lot of people use them to get in the stadiums, but now you can have a Padres one, which is great. So 1998 colors too. So they've seen they've debuted the original one that they had. They've had a City Connect one, and now they got a Padres 1998 belt bag. So that will be pretty cool for everybody out there. That's Monday, March 30th. On to Thursday, April 9th against the Rockies will be the Manny's Hot Corner bobblehead. So it's Manny Machado playing third base. They got the flames around the side. It's presented by McDonald's. First 40,000 in attendance. Display-worthy collectible features Machado at third base and is a keepsake for all the faithful. That's a nice little, I like the little bottom there. That's pretty cool. What is that? Is that the armband? Pink armband? Yeah, it looks nice. Again, if you want to go back, you can rewatch this on YouTube and take a look at everything in the on the deal here. Let's move on to the next one. Wednesday, April 15th versus Seattle Mariners. The puffer vest presented by State Farm. That's that vest right there on the table. That's pretty nice. The best part about this is, like, when I was a kid, like, some of the giveaways were kind of lame, but now they have made them so legit. I mean, that's a nice little vest right there. It's presented by State Farm. That will be, again, on April 15th against the Seattle Mariners, a Wednesday game at 6:40. Not a Wednesday day game. It's a Wednesday night game. First 40,000 fans get that. Against the Cubs, there's a waffle beanie presented by Motorola Razr. Waffle beanies on April 28th against the Cubs. Top off your fit with a soft waffle beanie made for night games at a ballpark photo op. This item is limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance as well. So that's pretty cool. Like the bobblehead. The one they had last year was cool too, but the beanie, the one they had last year was cool too. First bobblehead for Mason Miller, Thursday, May 7th, at least in a Padres uniform. They got the Mason Miller bobblehead. Watch your speed. Elite pitching with a bobblehead that nods to Miller's clutch moments on the mound. He's got fire coming off of the baseball on his delivery, which is super cool. You can bring that a little bit closer to the camera if you want. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So Mason Miller bobblehead giveaway Thursday, May 7th. And it was an Italian joke. That's hilarious. Braden Surprenant Show. He's Frank Marchese. We're here each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3. The Fan. Be sure to follow us on social media at B_SURP, at BSURP. You can also follow the show at BSURP Show. You can follow Frank Marchese, FMarks324, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching on 97.3 The Fan's YouTube, look down in the comments. You can see the link to our YouTube page. It's free to subscribe. If you want to do a little bit extra, there's some membership stuff on there as well. We appreciate you guys doing that. It is time, Frank, not to come up with another question.
Thank God.
It is time to announce today's biggest fan.
His name is Yasmin. I'm not picking it up. Sorry. Apparently, as we've learned from last segment, I hate people named Yasmin. So I'm sorry if this just so unluckily happens to be you.
That'd be Harleen.
Harleen, whatever.
Yasmin actually called in the other day. Anyway, today's biggest fan is Harleen Susana. And I'm just
sorry, not picking it up. My bad, dude. Apparently,
the 80th best prospect in Major League Baseball is.
Apparently, I hate you. Sorry.
Guy throws 103 miles an hour. Nobody to Frank.
So do I.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
On MLB The Show.
There it is. Congratulations to today's biggest fan, Juan Flores in Escondido. Juan in Escondido. Give us a call in the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97throughthefantasy.com/biggest-fan. Juan Flores in Escondido. You got 10 minutes, buddy. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Juan Flores.
We have someone here who likes to flaunt the fact that they were the biggest fan this morning.
Yeah, Jocelyn has let that rip all day today. Her husband won a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Like one of the first ones, actually. I think.
He's like one of the first guys. First fans to win. Hey, they got 2 chances now, Jocelyn.
You know what the best part is? I've known that for a couple of weeks now.
Oh, that she was gonna,
she was gonna be on the list because it's filled out so long in advance.
Yeah, it's filled out.
So I knew this day was coming.
That's awesome.
Oh, he was the first one. There you go.
The first biggest fan. Now, that was announced. Rod is the OG biggest fan.
Yes.
He's even got a little cup to display that. I think my entry has been deleted. Apparently. All right. What did I want to get into with this? I was going to get into something with this, with the biggest fan. Oh, I did trivia last night again.
Oh, no.
Came in 4th.
Hey, that's better than last time, right?
Well, last time was just me and my friend. This time was me, my friend, and some of her friends.
Gotcha. Oh, so that's why.
We had a little bit more.
So that's why you had the girls on trivia night. You were bound to get the boost.
Yeah, so
women know everything, as we know.
Yeah, there's another guy. Well, one of her friends, she dates a Braden. He spells his name wrong.
Oh.
That has to be, you got to set the tone early.
He draws the foul.
Spells it with a Y. Spells it wrong. So that has to be at the forefront, of course. Have to be, he spells his name wrong. Okay. So we went to Duckfoot Brewing. You ever been to Duckfoot Brewing? I don't know why you would, but you know what? It's a great place. It's over in Miramar. Went there last night. This was trivia that was definitely for adults only because the trivia host was hilarious.
Okay.
I think he also hosts like their comedy night that they do. Yeah, it was unfiltered like the whole time. I mean, he was making fun of a lot of people. He said a lot of jokes that I could not say on the radio. Very, very funny. But it was a good time. Yes, Beach Bum Burgers were there last night, Cole. I had one. I thought it was delicious. Cole, do you know the boys at Beach Bum Burgers? I thought I had a Beach Bum Classic last night. Split it with my friend. It was good. Serve it with kettle chips on the side. Got that yesterday. So anyway, they go through it. I thought the trivia questions were easier this time. I thought the questions were slightly easier. I contributed to a handful of these. One of them was some of them were a little bit of multiple choice. Can you name out of these 4 actors which one has not hosted Saturday Night Live at least 10 times? Steve Martin, Tom Hanks,
who's on it?
Danny DeVito, Alec Baldwin. Which one of those did not host Saturday Night Live as a host at least 10 times?
I would say it's...
I got this one right.
I would say it's either Hanks or DeVito. Probably DeVito.
It's DeVito.
Yeah, okay.
That is correct. So after they would announce the answer, they have a gift. So they had naked DeVito coming out of a black hole. And was that in Always Sunny? Is that what it's in? Yeah. So they showed that in slow-mo on the things. Like I said, it was like an adult's deal. But anyway, like sports is never trivia. Sports is never trivia, right? That's always like all these things. They never do sports, hardly ever. The final question, the bonus question, was a sports question. And I was just like,
my realm.
Let's go.
And I got it wrong.
No. I was like, bet the house. We're about to finish top 4. So we were 7th going into that last question. Mm-hmm. And I was like, sports. And I was like, okay, perfect. This is great. It said, name 4 out of the 5 U.S. cities that have won the most combined championships in the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, and the NHL. And it said, note, pre-Super Bowl NFL championships count, which I thought was a dead giveaway to get one of the top 4. I, of course, got the top 4. The 5th one, we didn't get. Braden, who spells his name wrong, thought was part of the top 5 in general. So even if we didn't go with my 4th or his 4th, whatever, we would have won anyway. Can you name 4 of the top 5 cities that have won, U.S. cities that have won the most championships? Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, and the NFL.
Well, New York, Chicago, L.A., Boston, right?
That's it.
Oh, well, there you go. Son of a gun.
Those are the ones I got. I was down to Chicago because I was like, okay, well, the Cubs have only won 1 in the last 100 years.
Yeah, but the Blackhawks have been really good.
The Blackhawks and the Bulls were good, but I didn't know if that was over to come. But then I remembered, I was like, okay, the Bears have only won 1 Super Bowl. The note was all NFL championships.
Yeah.
The Bears had won multiple NFL championships before the Super Bowl. And so we ended up going with Chicago over the other city. But yeah, I think number 1 was New York. And then I think it was LA, then Boston, then Chicago. Can you name the 5th?
Can I name the 5th?
The 5th most championships for any U.S. city to win the Big 4.
Wouldn't be Dallas.
No.
Is it a major city?
Oh, yeah, it's a major city for sure.
Philadelphia?
Yeah, Philly was number 5. That's a relatively easy question. That was the last Final Jeopardy type question to the deal. Some of them I had no idea. But you know what? Some people in our group knew a lot of the answers. Like whatever Gandalf's horse's name. I couldn't tell you. I barely know who Gandalf is. I have never watched The Lord of the Rings. I have never had any interest.
Wait a minute. Oh, time out.
I'm not into that kind of deal.
Neither am I, but I've watched Lord of the Rings.
I've never seen any of those movies.
They're really, really good. You should watch.
I was told they are. I don't have any interest. No.
You watch Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3, and then you watch The Hobbit, which are 4, 5, and 6.
I have seen one of the Hobbits. I got dragged to that in high school with a group of people that all loved the Lord of the Rings movies.
The Hobbit technically takes place.
It's a prequel, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes place before Lord of the Rings.
Right. So I saw that,
but
I saw the first one of those.
Yeah.
Anyway, the trivia guy had some side comments for the people that turned in that card particularly fast. He's like, because it was a difficult question. It was. That's exactly what he did. So the guy hosting the trivia was, he ripped those people. He unfortunately our group, somebody in our group knew it immediately. So went up there, but he said because it was one of the difficult questions in the random section. It was like the most difficult one, and he was like, yeah, aside from some of you that are nerds and live in their parents' basements, this is a difficult question for us normal people that have a life. And I was like, oh my God, top rope.
You know what? I would have been cool. It's a wrestling question. That's
exactly.
what my thought would have been. It's a pro wrestling question.
And as we got it correctly, because Kathy's like, Gandalf's horse name is Shadowfax. Yeah, that's what the name was. Here's one for you. You would have. They had a cars section.
Okay.
You would have wrecked shop on that.
Well, now wait, actual cars or the movie?
Cars, like the actual physical cars.
Gotcha.
Now, one of the questions was Ford made these 3 cars in the 60s and 70s that are named after horses.
Mustang, Bronco, and
yes, and come on, Mr. Carr.
Relax, will you?
I even got this one right. That's your hint.
So it's not the Thunderbird.
It explodes. If you get rear-ended, it used to explode.
I was going to say, what horse explodes?
The car. The Ford blank.
I can't think.
The Pinto. The Ford Pinto.
I hate Ford. So that's
Pinto's a horse.
You had me there.
What
I hate
for
Ford.
44 consecutive years, which car model has been the most sold car model in the United States?
The F-150.
The F-150, yeah. There's another Ford question for you. And then there's the other
real men wear bow ties.
The other 2 questions were like the most popular color that was not like white, gray, white, gray, or black in the United States. The most popular car colors. Name the next two popular car
Blue
colors.
or red, probably.
Those were the other ones.
Yeah.
And the last one for you was this European car company made the Panda and something
Fiat.
else. Fiat. Yep. We went 4 for 4 in the car section. Dominated the sports section. The movies and TV wasn't bad. One of the questions that was interesting was this singer. It was part of the randoms, and I forget the name that he had. But this singer died at the age of 45 in 1991, who was originally from Zanzibar.
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. I didn't know Freddie Mercury was from Zanzibar.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he wasn't British. He's Pakistani.
So that was another one of those questions. I think that was all the ones I could remember in terms of the question. Then the halftime was they showed 10 album covers, and you had to fill in what the artist was for those. It's pretty fun. Trivia night's pretty good. I don't mind trivia night. The beers there were pretty solid overall. Good time. The burger, as Cole Brooks pointed out, was the food truck there was money. Beach Bum Burgers, had a good time with that last night. But overall, great.
70s and 80s music, I got you. Cars, for the most part, I got you. Sports, for the most part, I got you, but so does Braden. But other than that, yeah, you lost me. I might be able to get the odd movie question right.
It was movie and TV shows, but there was somebody in the group that was obsessed with movie and TV shows. And
yeah,
so
you need see, if you're going to do a trivia night, you need to have a specialist in every area come in, and then the rest of you can fill in possibly the gap. Like, oh, hey, I know this one, to feel good about themselves.
There was a Harrison Ford question that was he has appeared in, what can you name 3 of the 4 most recent TV shows / movies that Harrison Ford has appeared in?
Nope.
And the hint was there's 2 TV shows and 2 movies.
Nope.
I actually got this one. There was one TV show that I hadn't even heard of before. They got that one immediately.
Okay. That's probably the most recent one.
That's probably the most recent one. But the other ones, I got the other ones. 1923, the series.
Okay.
And actually, it was in Indiana Jones, the most recent Indiana Jones.
Oh, there wasn't it? Okay.
Came out not too long ago. There's a TV series he's in, and I don't know what it's called. Shrinking, that's what it is. It was Shrinking in 1923 were the correct answers with Indiana Jones. There you go. There's your trivia for the day. How about that? Sports one.
Loved The Fugitive.
That was a good movie.
Love Tommy Lee Jones too. He's really, really good.
Anyway, I enjoyed the trivia night. I think it's pretty fun. Have you been to trivia night? I got to start bringing you out to trivia night.
Yeah,
you can get the Cars questions for me.
Sure.
So it was TV and film. It was Cars. It was random. And then what was the other one? I forget the other one that we ended up doing very well on. And I thought there's no way we're going to do well on this. Oh, video games. Video games.
I got you there. I got you there too.
So I think one of the questions was out of
maybe.
all these games, which one was not designed just for the PlayStation? Which one's also on Xbox or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
That was Assassin's Creed, apparently. I've had Assassin's Creed. I didn't know that was both, whatever.
Yeah.
When sports came up, did you jump out of your seat? No, I played it cool, man. You can't let people know you know what's going on. Can't let people know what's going on. And all the teams that usually are in the lead, if they get a sports question late, they tank hard. Tank so hard. And they're always that question we got is not that difficult of a question. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not doing too great here tonight. All right, next category is sports. Ha!
Bang!
You're all screwed now.
Yeah, what up?
I got you now.
Sir, you're in last place. Sit down.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm gonna just sit here.
Overall, pretty good time. All right, when we come back, we got to get you an update on the Farmers Insurance Open. And we talked about it earlier this week about how it might there's some growing concern about the Farmers Insurance Open continuing because Farmers Insurance sponsorship with the tournament is expiring at the end of this year. There's but extra reason for hope. The golfers love being there, despite how difficult the course is. What did some of the golfers say in their first couple of practice rounds at Torrey? We'll tell you when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 to the Fan. UCSD continues to look like one of the most legitimate athletic programs in San Diego, and not just for a Big West school. Big crowds, big wins, big moments, and some real questions coming out of last week as the Tritons competed against UC Irvine, which could have been an opportunity to get themselves in a first place in the Big West Conference. But fun night on Saturday night in La Jolla, unfortunately, just didn't go the way of the Tritons. It was a sellout crowd of 4,000 packed in the Liontree Arena as UCSD went toe-to-toe with first-place UC Irvine. And even in a 61-59 loss, Triton showed why they belong in this conference title conversation. But it's the margin of error is starting to thin a little bit for UCSD, especially after losing to Irvine. Now, they do have the tiebreaker over Hawaii currently, but they still got to play Hawaii again, and they have to go to the Brent Event Center and play Irvine again. A tough place to play, but a place that the Tritons actually have had more success against Irvine than playing in their own gym.
Yeah, and especially as you get down to the later end of this season, the conference schedule, the way it's playing out, losses really magnify, but also the wins really magnify. So a big loss can just as easily turn into a big win later on down the road. Leo Beath was outstanding in that game against UC Irvine, 16 points, 10 boards, game highs in both. The game had 5 ties, 8 lead changes. UCSD hit threes early, punch first, never back down. They showed a really gritty performance as they have shown for most of this year. Unfortunately, against UC Irvine came up a little bit short.
Yeah, and this is the hard truth for the Tritons. UCSD didn't score in the final 3 minutes and 47 seconds.
It'll beat you every time.
That's where experience and execution matter. And where this team still has a growing edge of, they're young, they're, inexperienced. A lot of the experienced guys ended up transferring out, followed Eric Olin to New Mexico, again, or found other homes in the transfer portal. Against the best defense of the Big West, every possession late felt like a playoff possession, and Irvine made a couple more plays than UCSD. Now, they're still 15-6 overall. They're 5-4 in league play, right in the mix, second best home attendance in the Big West, and the program is definitely building something special. The people are showing up here in San Diego to go watch UCSD, and the third, now D1 program in San Diego.
Yeah, and especially was this their second year in Division I? They've made the national championship tournament last year.
Second year eligible for the tournament in Division I.
Yes, that's what I meant to say. So yeah, they've got the groundwork. They've got the basement floor done. They're starting to build up now on this incredibly stable foundation in a couple of years when they move to the West Coast Conference, fighting it out with the Toreros in the same conference. It's going to make it a lot of fun here in San Diego, not just to watch San Diego State play, but also to see UCSD and the Toreros battle it out.
Huge bounce back opportunity on Thursday night for UCSD. They got the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. It's Spirit Night for the Tritons. Gauchos are red hot. They've won 4 straight and 1 game ahead of the Tritons in the standings. UCSD has won 6 of the 11 Big West meetings against UC Santa Barbara, and the Tritons swept them last year in 2025, including the Big West semifinals. But this is very much a swing game for the Tritons. If you win it, UCSD right back in the mix of in the top tier of the conference. If they lose, now they're really firing behind the 8 ball right now in the Big West Conference. Now, for women's basketball, they made a statement. They went up to the Brent Event Center and they beat UC Irvine. In fact, they handed UC Irvine its first conference loss. Snapped a 16-game win streak for the Anteaters as they won 68-66 in a grinder, which you heard right here on 97.3 The Fan, one of the games that we have aired in our partnership with UCSD. But overall, 68-66 grinder of a win. Rosa Smith, 20 points, clutch threes, clutch free throws. Erin Condren, 19 points, 7 boards, 2 blocks. Triton scored 24 points off turnovers, and they're now 8-1 in the Big West and now tied for first, which they now have the tiebreaker after they snapped an Irvine run to start Big West play.
And that's definitely the big stat there out of those numbers that you read. The Triton scoring 24 points off of turnovers. They were able to make UC Irvine pay for their mistakes on the scoreboard. And the defense, incredible, forcing mistakes and playing in close games. They're not flashy. They are tough, though, and that is something that they are going to need as you get down the run in conference play.
This is a school that used to fly under the radar, and that era, I think, is starting to end fast. They're going to join the West Coast Conference in 2027, a program and a school that's leveling up in athletics. And it's going to ask the question that we might answer next week. Is UCSD becoming San Diego's most underrated sports brand. $122 on a Thursday, opening round of the Farmers Insurance Open. If you want, you can play the Masters song in the background. We've done that sometimes. I know it's not the Masters, but it is the PGA Tour, Frank, and the PGA Tour is here, and the PGA Tour is off and running in round one as we have a lot of golfers finishing up their first round and a lot midway through at this point in time. What is our look at the Farmers Insurance Open leaderboard as of right now at 1:23 in the afternoon?
Well, I'm not going to be able to have the music up for this at the current moment.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know. I'm awful. I'm the worst. So start off with Max Grazerman, who is currently 8 under par through
That's what
16.
We're going to do that?
No, we're not. Justin Lauer is currently 7 under, currently through 16. He's actually just teed off on the 8th right now. Davis Thompson, as well as I'm not hurting myself pronouncing that. I'm sorry. Currently 6 under par, currently is currently sitting in the 3rd spot, tied for 3rd. Looking through, Jason Day right now through 9. He is 4 under. A lot of guys who started on the South Course having some big issues as far as their score is concerned. Looking
That's
through,
no joke down there.
Hideki Matsuyama right now is 2 under through 9. He also teed off a little bit later as well. Adam Scott is also 2 under par, tied for 36th, getting now down to the guys tied for 38th. We've got a lot. Patrick Cantlay is 1 under. Gary Woodland is also 1 under. Jordan Smith is 1 under. Wyndham Clark currently sitting at even par, tied for 79th. Still haven't found some of the bigger names like Brooks Koepka. There's Xander Schauffele. He is 1 over through 13, tied for 100th at the current moment. Looking through, still looking for Brooks Koepka. There he is, tied for 120th at 2 over through 14. JJ Spawn is also 2 over, tied for 120th as we're starting to rapidly approach the end of day 1 of the Farmers Insurance Open.
Yeah, tough start for Xander Schauffele right now in the Farmers Insurance Open. Obviously,
he started on the South Course.
The South Course is so difficult. It's so difficult, and a lot of these golfers have a bad time on the South Course. But we've seen some picture perfect day scenes of Torrey Pines today. I mean, what a wonderful outing. And then again, today's Thursday, so it's a work day, so the crowds are very limited, but it looks like a gorgeous day to go watch some golf at the Farmers Insurance Open. And it goes back to our conversation about, like, you know what? This tournament needs to be on the tour every single year. It needs to be early in the season in January. You get the beautiful day. It's great for the golfers on the tour. It's great for all the people. And this is great for us in San Diego to give us that tourism for the rest of the year. Watching, I mean, there's people in the snow right now watching this going like, people live here? I could be here at some point in time. I mean, this is the best, one of the best times of the year to showcase San Diego. It's a little bit chillier than we would like here in San Diego, but I mean, I want to get out in the sun and go walk around Torrey Pines. I mean, what a great afternoon. Brandon said it in Carlsbad. Go out and have a day. Go out and have a day at the Farmers Insurance Open. That looks phenomenal. We got to get you out there one of these years.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it.
It's great. It's great to be out there. Rod's gonna have a day on Sunday. He's got tickets for Sunday. Anybody that thinks like watching golf on television is a little boring, I'm not gonna lie, but it is awesome to watch it in person. It is awesome to watch it in person. And this event that San Diego puts on, just like so many different events in San Diego, every time I work an event in San Diego, everybody, like, it's a national event. I worked the All-Star game here. I've worked multiple Farmers Insurance Opens. I've worked a lot of NCAA tournaments. And every single time, holiday bowls, and every single time people go like, why aren't we having more events here in San Diego? Those are people from the outside. Why can't we have more? Why can't this be here every single year? So that's the update that we have with the Farmers Insurance Open. Again, there is a little bit of a potential pause when it comes to the schedule coming up, but a lot of golfers were asked about it, whether or not they would like to return to the Farmers Insurance Open or to Torrey Pines in general. They had a lot of positive things to say. We'll tell you the good news when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Sermon Sports Station 97 through the Fan. This week at University of San Diego, it's the Tyler Johnson takeover and a tight West Coast Conference race. If you're looking for a reason to keep an eye on the University of San Diego, start with this. Tyler Johnson has turned into one of the most electric guards in the West Coast Conference. New York City ACC background, now running the show in San Diego, and he's not just fitting in, he's taking over games. Tyler Johnson has become the engine of this team, and statistically, one of the best guards in the league, Frank.
Yeah, leads the West Coast Conference right now in scoring at 20.3 points a game. Leads in steals at 3.3s. Top 5 in assists. Multiple takeover performances he's had recently. He just had 28 points against Washington State in one of the more near perfect games that USD has played this season. 22 points and 6 steals against Pacific. 21 points in a shootout loss to Gonzaga. Game-winning 3 against UCSD earlier on this season. I mean, he has been unbelievable this season for the Toreros.
Yeah, Steve Lavin calls him unique. Blazing speed, elite instincts, a rare ability to play fast without losing control. And he's 6 feet tall, 155 pounds, playing with, Iverson-type confidence and Steph Curry-like freedom. I mean, he is definitely fun to watch for the San Diego Toreros. But the reality check, 9-13 overall. Going into this week, they're 3-6 in West Coast Conference play. They're amongst a tied logjam in the standings from 4th through 12th in the conference. And why it's important is getting positioning for the West Coast Conference tournament. Top 2 teams are in the semifinals. 3 and 4 were in the quarterfinals. 5 and 6 get a bye. 7 and 8 get another bye. And you just keep going down the list. You want to finish outside that bottom 4, but San Diego, based on 4 through 12 being in a logjam, has a really good opportunity to get a bye until Sunday in the West Coast Conference tournament. Like the top 3, that's going to be Gonzaga, it's going to be St. Mary's, it's going to be Santa Clara. But from there on out, it's a good chance to not have to start your West Coast Conference tournament in Vegas on a Thursday and instead start either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, which does a multitude of things in trying to make a run in the West Coast Conference tournament.
And they have the ability to do it. I mean, they've beaten Washington State. They blew out Pepperdine, who, as we're recording this, they're getting ready to play Pepperdine up in Malibu. They went toe-to-toe with Gonzaga, forced 21 turnovers against Santa Clara, even though they lost. They do compete. I mean, this team's inconsistency right now is shot making and not effort. They have the grit to be able to win these games and make a push in the West Coast Conference tournament if they could just get the consistency down right now.
USD's not out of this yet from the men's side. The margin of error is very thin. They're at Pepperdine this week. They're home against Oregon State on Saturday. They got a road stretch against St. Mary's and LMU. Now, St. Mary's is going to be a problem for them, obviously, just like Santa Clara was. But when looking at the schedule, USD plays a lot of teams that they're tied with to finish up the season and teams that are very beatable. West Coast Conference tournament seeding's on the line. Whether USD avoids the opening Thursday night in Vegas is on the line, and whether this season becomes growth or another missed opportunity for the men's basketball program. On the women's side, don't overlook the women's team. They're fighting. I mean, lower in the standings, but they just had a big win against LMU, who was second place in the West Coast Conference and the only team to beat Oregon State, who's number 1 in the conference, and they're sitting in the same position as the men's team. It is a logjam in the tournament. Same rules apply. Don't want to play on Thursday. Kylie Ray has been the big player. She shot 26 points in the game against LMU in the win. She's continuing to put up record numbers, but also most of it coming in the second half.
Yeah, Eva Roos also posting a double-double in that game as USD was able to protect home court after that brutal road stretch. Ray right now is the top 3 scorer in the West Coast Conference, best free throw shooter in the league, clearly the go-to closer for the women's Toreros.
Yeah, now comes a very tough test. So they got to take on Oregon State on the road. They got to take on Portland on the road. Oregon State's the number 1 team in the conference. The only team that they have lost to this season has been LMU, who you just beat. But for USD and for Blanche Alverson's team, the women's basketball team has not gotten a road win yet. And that's something that they're going to have to look for in the next couple of weeks or so to play themselves out of the bottom 4. Now, that being said, this is a very tough opponent for them. They're number 1 in the conference, Oregon State is, and it's a road game. So we'll see how the Toreros do. But the biggest problem for the women's team is they start off slow, and then they rally back. Kylie Ray dropped like 20 points in the second half, and then they come up a possession short. They are slowly starting to figure out how to win as a team, and they need to continue to do that in Blanche Alverson's first year. But as for the Toreros, both the men and the women are in the exact same spot right now, and that's our weekly update. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. I want to mention that all guests on 97 through the Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crimes in 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We have launched some new stuff on YouTube. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed these commercial breaks for you on YouTube as well, as we have extra content now on our YouTube page at B_SURP, YouTube.com/B_SURP. If you put that in to your search, you will at B_SURP, you will find our YouTube page. And on this YouTube page, you will find a bunch of different playlists that you can find as well. With our channel, in which we will have some extra content for you, whether it be shorts or videos, what have you. But we have stuff on the goals. We have stuff on San Diego State, UC San Diego, USD, all of those, all the local teams in town, San Diego FC. We have a NASCAR and racing update for you as well, some high school sports. We are doing this and try to increase some content for you out there on social media. You can also be a member of our deal. It's great. You got a lot of, perks with that as well. We're going to put together, Frank's got a lot of ideas that he wants to do with that. But it's great to try to get some more content out there. A lot of the sports and stuff that we don't have time to talk about on the air during our show, especially during Padres season where we're all Padres all the time. It's a good way for us to get some more content out there. We're going to be doing some more social media content with some food reviews that we can air in the noon hour as well. So we got a lot of ideas that we want to put out there to you, and we'll take a lot of feedback as well. We appreciate it. Again, you could subscribe to our YouTube page. It's free to subscribe at B_SURP. Free to subscribe to the YouTube page. We got a lot of different videos out there, a lot of different content for everybody that's watching on YouTube. We have extra content during our commercial breaks, as I mentioned before. So people driving around listening on the radio, there's a lot of content you're missing too. So when you get home, you can fire us up, put us on your smart TV, put us wherever you get YouTube. You can also re-listen to a lot of our entire show on wherever you get your podcasts as well. So big shout out to everybody that has been a part of that on our social media page. And as well as our YouTube page. We really appreciate that. Trying to get the subscribers up, trying to get you more content out there. So if you can, please subscribe to our YouTube page. It's free to subscribe to the page. There might be a couple other things that involve some membership fees if you want to do that. But the subscription is free, and you'll notify you every time that we put out videos. And all of our playlists are out there. So if you're a Goals fan, UCSD fan, San Diego fan, of the Toreros, San Diego State, college sports, all that stuff. We will have different, basically like mini podcasts for you once a week on there. So we had our first week up looks really good, a really good job. But any other ideas that you want out there, other content you might want us to cover, we're open to other suggestions. But Frank, really excited about the way that we have launched the YouTube stuff today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a lot of fun doing it yesterday. I mean, we kind of fell into a rhythm really, really quick with it yesterday. Also want to make an amendment to that motorsports and that NASCAR one. NASCAR has postponed the Clash this weekend. So it could be pushed back to the middle of the week next week. But yeah, the NASCAR has postponed the Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium until at least the middle of next week.
We're not going to have like a lot of golf and stuff on there. Just they're here this weekend. So we made one. I'm sure we'll have, we'll mix in the NFL and the NBA and the NHL as well. Kind of a weekly update. Maybe there's a big topic in those particular sports that we don't have time to get to during the week. But we'll throw it on our podcast form, and all of the audio, of course, can still be replicated onto the podcast as well. So we wanted to talk more about the Farmers Insurance Open. And we gave a couple of updates, but the whole lead-in has been a little eerie because what is going on right now in the Farmers Insurance Open is Farmers' contract with the tournament, their sponsor contract is over at the end of this year, which puts it in a little bit of limbo in terms of like being a event. But also at the same time, the PGA Tour wants to make the schedule a little bit smaller. I think they want to lop off up to 8 potential tournaments to try to get more high impact players in some of these events. And so this week's been a lot of that conversation. And Frank and I have done our job of, pitching why it should stay on the tour. And I think it's going to. But you look, they're kind of at a crossroads right now. Sponsorship ends and PGA Tour changes loom. 74th Farmers Insurance Open teed off today at Torrey Pines. It's the 59th consecutive year the tournament has been played at this iconic San Diego golf course, but beneath the surface, there's a lot of uncertainty that still looms with this tournament. After 17 years, Farmers Insurance is departing as the title sponsor after Sunday, leaving the tournament without a confirmed sponsor heading into next season. At the same time, the PGA Tour is expected to reshape its schedule beginning in 2026, putting several long-standing tournaments on shaky ground. For now, competition takes center stage. As we have given you updates throughout the day, Xander Schauffele is 1 over right now through 14. He's playing the South Course, very difficult. But the future of one of the tour's most recognizable events remains a major talking point. Now, players have spoken up this week. Multiple players described Torrey Pines as iconic. But the most powerful comments came from defending champion Harris English, who now sits on the PGA Tour Player Advisory Council, a key group that advises on structural changes. Tiger Woods is a part of that as well. Tiger Woods has had a lot of success at the Farmers Insurance Open and at Torrey Pines in general. But Harris English did not mince words when he talked about this tournament. He called the Farmers a cornerstone event, pledged to personally help find a new sponsor, emphasized the emotional attachment players have to Torrey Pines, and warned that losing the event would be a shame. Notably, 9 of the 16 player advisory council members are in the field, meaning this tournament has real influence inside the tour leadership. Frank, we talked about the good news that we have gotten this week with ESPN picking up the first couple of days of the Farmers Insurance Open, at least in the early rounds before the Golf Channel takes over. I think that was a step in the right direction. I think certain golfers that are competing in it makes it good news for the future and the stability of this golf course and of this being on the tour, with guys like Brooks Koepka being part of this after coming back over from Live Golf, and some of the big names that have entered into the Farmers Insurance Open this year, as well as some of the players that have won it in the past and how much they have had success here. But when you get from that perspective now to hearing from Harris English, I believe, as much as Tiger Woods has been a part of the conversation, everything like that, I look at what defending champion Harris English had said about pledging to personally find a sponsor for this tournament, calling it a cornerstone event. He's just one golfer But in my opinion, this is really good news for the future of the Farmers Insurance Open.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, it feels like the official start of the PGA season. We know it's not, but this is like when most people really tune in for the first time of the year and continue. This is the start of it. And I'll equate this to racing, for me at least, because I do sim racing a lot. And your favorite tracks to race at are the ones that challenge you, are the ones that are the most difficult to understand, because that feeling of, yes, I finally got it, I finally figured it out, it's such a rush when you finally get it and you finally win a race there at a place that's giving you so many problems. That's how professional athletes feel. When you're on a tough and tricky golf course, the way Torrey Pines is, the way Bethpage Black on Long Island is, once you get over that hump and you win, it's like, yes, I finally was able to nail this one. So to be able to, you don't want to just walk through and shoot 20 under every single tournament. You want that challenge. You want that fight. You want that difficulty. And that, I think, is why a lot of golfers are going to stick up for Torrey Pines staying on the tour schedule.
I think so too. And you start looking at some of the other things that have come out. Now, we had tournament CEO Marty Gorshitz on our show, and when you are running the tournament, right? I mean, it's going to be a little bit more positive on what the narrative is, right? But I think this is a big endorsement from the golfers, based on what Harry English said, and based on a couple other things too, like Tiger Woods, who is a 7-time winner at Torrey, now chairing the future competition committee, having a history at Torrey Pines and having a big part of his career, and him always being part of the tournament when he was active in golf. But there is still some speculation. Century could take over sponsorship if its Hawaii event is discontinued, which is, potentially good news for the Farmers Insurance Open. The Farmers could open the PGA Tour season. I could see that happening, or potentially shift into the postseason. Now, that would be even cooler if they move the Farmers to later in the year, but it's part of the postseason. That's something that we haven't really discussed yet, but postseason golf here in San Diego, sign us up, Frank.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I mean, that's also a great nod to, hey, we were never really considering dropping the course. But if you can get that sponsor, if they pay enough, that's also another thing. If you get a big enough sponsor willing to pay enough money, the PGA and other sporting bodies, they'll move their stuff around. They'll move dates around to be able to accommodate the prestige of the title sponsor. So if you get a big name sponsor and they want it in the tournament, they want it in the playoff, and they're willing to spend enough money to do it, that is a very real possibility. We might not see it start the year anymore. It'd be pretty cool, though, to see Torrey Pines end it, though.
It would be pretty cool to be near the end. But like at the same time, now you start thinking to, when's the best time to drive tourism to San Diego? Like, these are the times where you don't have massive conventions. I know the car convention usually is the auto show is usually during this month. But the big reason why the Holiday Bowls are in December, there's not a big convention in San Diego in December. So to have the Farmers Insurance Open here in like end of January, early February is one of the more down times for tourism here in San Diego. It's a big reason for that. But, when you get to postseason play for golf, I mean, I think you're looking at when is the postseason play for golf? Like end of, August, September?
I'm not even going to pretend to know.
I know. I don't know either. I'm like looking at all the deals. I don't know how the postseason works for the PGA, but the FedEx Cup playoffs and stuff. They have the FedEx Cup fall.
Top 70 players, FedEx Cup St. Jude's Championship. That's where it starts. August 10th through the 16th, followed by the top 50 at the BMW, August 17th through the 23rd, and concluding with the Tour Championship in Atlanta, top 30.
So when does it start? When did you say
August 10th through the 16th. The next week is the BMW, and then it's the championship, the Tour Championship.
Interesting. So postseason would be cool too. You would have it here, and it'd be a little bit warmer, but it'd be nice to see that. You want to see Torrey Pines. The best month in San Diego is like September, October.
Yeah,
when it like end of September, early October is when it starts to cool down, and there's not, you don't have all the zonies out here at the beach. Kids are back in school. Some of the best time to be at Torrey Pines. A couple other things with this particular tournament. There's obviously some local pride and legacy. Xander Schauffele, San Diego native born, just miles from Torrey Pines, echoed the confidence in this tournament. Called the course safe because of the stature, highlighted the quality of winners the course produces. He also credited Tiger Woods for elevating Torrey Pines into golfing lore. Schauffele admitted bias, but insisted that Torrey's value goes far beyond sentiment. I agree. This is one of the best tournaments out there. It usually comes down to the finish, the final spot. It's always a great tournament. The weather's always great. It's a wonderful golf course. And even though everybody gets frustrated playing at it, I think a lot of the golfers enjoy playing Torrey Pines.
Yeah, and that's, like I said before, that's the allure of it. Is you're not going to, coming in, you're not going out there and shooting 30 under and finishing 10th. You're going to have a time. It is going to be it's going to be a challenge. It's going to test you in a way that few golf courses are able to do. And I mean, that's what the competitive juices are for, is to get you through a tournament like this.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of this plays out. I know a lot of people are heading to Torrey this weekend, which is great. It should be a fun time. I got a lot of buddies that are doing that as well. We will be at FanFest on Saturday. Coming up on Saturday's show, we are scheduled to have a couple of Padres on our station, and a couple of on our show. Some of the guys that we're going to have on our show are Mason Miller is scheduled to join us on Saturday. Looking forward to talking to him, as well as Joe Musgrove, the local kid. So having the local kid on the high school local show here with us. And it's going to be fun to talk with Joe and with Mason Miller. Mason Miller's thought about changing his intro music. I like Burn It to the Ground by Nickelback for him. I feel like the stadium just didn't crank it as loud because he wasn't the closer. I got to stick with it, Mason. I think you got to stick with it.
Yeah, you could barely hear it. I mean, I was there the second or third time he pitched, and yeah, you could barely hear it. They had the video ready to go. The video was good. I believe there were lights, but you couldn't hear the music. You couldn't hear the song.
I don't mind it. I like it. I think it's cool. I think the closers need to have some high octane metal type music coming out, in my opinion, or something pretty crazy. But I like that. I think it's great. Scrappy said Braden and Frank we did get the best interviews, FanFest. I don't want to brag or anything. I think I got Jake Peavy though. How do you? So the scheduled slate is the morning show is going to get Ben and Woods are going to get Jason Adam and Craig Stammen. They always get the manager. We have Mason Miller and Joe Musgrove, and then the afternoon gets Jake Cronenworth. They get the Jakes
again.
Jake Cronenworth and Jake Peavy scheduled to join the afternoon show on Saturday.
Again, this is all scheduled. Things can change, but this is the expected plan, the tentative plan that we have in motion right now.
We're going to be out there from 12 to 2 on Saturday. Before us will be Bennett Woods, who will be there from 10 to 12. And then after us will be Gwen and Chris, 2 to 4. Should be a fun time out at Petco Park. We're looking forward to you guys joining us. Again, if you want to go to FanFest, it is free, but you have to get a ticket online. So go to Padres.com to get your free FanFest tickets. Parking at all Padres parking facilities is also free, but it is first come, first serve for the parking. So highly recommend getting down there early, enjoying the day down there. I know they're doing a lot of meet and greets. I haven't been to the garage. The garage sale's cool. They usually do the garage sale, Frank, where they have player worn stuff. They just have everything and anything and everything. And I would imagine there's probably a lot of City Connect stuff there this year.
I would expect it. That's not going to need it anymore, unfortunately.
Wow. Garage sales, buy one, get one. Jocelyn, is that legit? Padres garage sale is usually super awesome.
Oh, you liar. Don't be doing that.
Come on.
Don't be doing that.
Boo.
That's a
He draws the foul.
unless you're saying you don't want people to say hi to you.
They have autograph reservations that have already sold out for FanFest, but the Padres Foundation garage sale is going to be near Park Boulevard Plaza. One-of-a-kind Padres items. All proceeds benefit the Padres Foundation. Fun on the field. Fans can enjoy several activities on the field. Kids under the age of 14 can participate in Kids Run the Bases, presented by Chick-fil-A. Additionally, fans can pitch in the bullpen, catch a fly ball, snap a photo in the dugout, take a tour of the grounds crew area. So there's going to be a lot of fun stuff on the field. All of the Padres stores, I think, will be open. Secure your Padres merchandise before the 2026 season at the Padres New Era Team Store. Team Store in the Western Metal Building and the store in Gallagher Square will be open. So those will be open at FanFest. They're going to have Padres question and answer sessions throughout the day. So Padres players and leadership will be speaking at the Saquon stage in Gallagher Square. The play ball field will be open. Kids can enjoy the Nuna Playground, inflatables, face painters at Gallagher Square. And there's a lot of benefits for all the members out there. As a reminder, members do receive 10% off concessions and merchandise. All Padres season ticket members are encouraged to stop by Membership HQ to say hello to their dedicated account representatives. So a lot of cool things to do, a lot of great things to do with your family and your kids out there at FanFest. We'll be out there at FanFest. Frank will be signing autographs. Anybody that wants an autograph by Frank. As Smash asks if he's giving out autographs.
Selfies, yes. I will. If you guys want to take a picture with me, why you would want to do that and risk breaking your camera, sure.
So we'll all be out there. It'll be a fun time. But coming up next, we got Gwen and Chris. We'll be back on Friday, tomorrow. Talk a little Aztec basketball and local basketball throughout the weekend. Updates on the Farmers Insurance Open and much more on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing Summer Sports Station, 97 to the Fan.